Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. The Navy Blues, we are the old dark Navy Blues. We're the team that never lets you down. That'll do, Steelo. It's been so long I'm forgetting the words, mate. Oh, the champions, they like to send.
Oh, dear me.
Good on you, Steele. You're a beauty, mate.
Thank you very much, David Steele, and welcome everybody to the GDFL match of the day at a beautiful sun-bathed Western Oval in Geelong. The Geelong West Giants are hosting Bellpost Hill. The reserves game on at the moment, the West Giants 4-5-29, Bellpost Hill 5-5-35. And in case you hadn't guessed it, there's a couple of happy Carlton supporters, one in the studio, one in the box. Richard Grubby-Cations, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, viewers. Good afternoon, boys. And I tell you what, they're the real deal, I think. The Blueies are finished 11th, but they're the real deal.
Well, we're going to find out later today if this home Geelong West crowd are the real deal. On top of the ladder, undefeated. They've got a little block of Bellpost Hill, East Geelong and Inverleigh coming up in front of them. We're excited to see them in action. And welcome also to former Geelong champion Dale
Smith. Good afternoon to you, Rob, and nice to be here this afternoon. Just happened to go home last weekend, had mother out for tea, so I was taking mum home. Loves to listen to football. K-Rock, just there they're doing their summary on. Anyway, I hear this voice on the wireless. Richard from Werribee. And I'm thinking, gee, I know that voice. It's very, very polite. And I said, no, it's not the bloke I know. It sounded more like Wayne Kerr from Werribee, I reckon. Yeah, old Grub. You tell him how he's been to Werribee and they've done a good job and out to Inverleigh to watch the match of the day. And what was the next comment he made? Oh, and great to hear your call, boys. You're doing a great job, he says to the boys on K-Rock. Oh,
yeah, after I told him they couldn't beat Carlton.
Oh, Jesus. I tell you what. I've heard everything now on a Saturday afternoon.
Been moonlighting. Oh, dear. Grubby, you have pulled in some magnificent guests of recent weeks, and the feedback on the quality of the interviews is just a pleasure to be involved in. And you've got another one today.
Well, I have. And before we do introduce him, there's a couple. I know you do a birthday segment on your show in the mornings, Two Blokes Chatting. We've got a bloke around here somewhere that turns 60 about Wednesday or Thursday.
Oh.
So, to Dale Smith, happy birthday, you old fart.
Happy birthday.
It won't be long till the bloke beside me joins me.
That might be next week. But and I got a mate of mine from Warrigal, Anthony John Raymond Christopher Hibbs, one of the greatest footballers ever to come out of Werribee.
Catholic boy with that many names.
Oh, yeah, he's a bit of a sniper too, I must admit. He's now refereeing boxing and doing a great job. So, Hibbsy, happy birthday, mate, and to your mum, who's on the very same day. What a birthday present that would have been.
Well, my aforementioned co-host had his 60th last week, so we've got a little clutch of them at the Pulse.
Well, there you go.
That's good.
There you go. Now, I know we get some good guests in, and we over the years, players, we get coaches, we get presidents. But today we've got a bloke I played footy and cricket with since we were about 9 or 10 years old. I was a better footballer than him, but he might have been a better cricketer. But he's doing an absolutely wonderful job at the moment. He's one of the bosses down at the umpires, none other than Steve Keaton. Welcome, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Grubby. How many best and fairest did you win the junior level, mate?
Only won 4 because I got reported a few times. But before we do start, you would have played district cricket at Essendon, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, yes.
First?
Yes, yeah, about 40 games in the ones.
Any good ones?
Yeah, I got a 4 from my first game. I picked up Graham Yallop one day when he was captain of Australia.
Graham Yallop.
Windy Hill, caught behind.
Yeah.
Caught 7-ball king. That's my proudest moment.
Was he out?
Oh, yeah, Nick. big Nick. Yeah.
Mate. Well, look, you've been a very, very good sportsman. Like, looking at you now, you're a bit overweight and going ball. People wouldn't realise that, I guess. But you've been a very good sportsman. But obviously your toughest job ever is running the umpires. It isn't an easy job, and I reckon for idiots like me going out over the fence, from players, from coaches, from the rule makers, that'll put you in a bit of trouble over the years, the rule makers, because they keep bringing up rules that I think make it harder for the umpires to police. But look, you're doing a pretty good job. How's your numbers down there?
At senior level, we're doing okay. We're doing pretty well. We got 3 in every game today, except we've only sent 1 to Colac for the Colac Giants GFL game. So we're losing a few through COVID and injury at the minute. But like everyone, and even the flu. I mean, the flu's hit the group, but we're hanging in. We're really poor on numbers for goal and boundary, and the juniors. There's a lot of junior games. The junior area is growing, and the women's is growing, but we're not growing with it to supply the umpires to all those games. So that's a challenge for recruiting, but we're only as good as who walks in the door, to be really honest. And then we've got to coach the group, just like any footy club.
Yeah.
And then we've got to coach the group to try and bring up a standard and try and keep an even standard right through the group. We've got our good ones and we've got our newbies, our first yearers. So but we just got to work hard with them and get them just paying the free kicks and doing the right things.
Yeah. Well, before I speak about the umpires, I ran into John Mitchell a couple of weeks ago.
Right, yeah, great supporter of umpiring over the years.
He sort of hasn't been that great over the years.
No, he hasn't, no.
And he told me that up until, I don't know, I think it was about round 6, only a couple of weeks ago, that the umpiring has been excellent. So that's a big thing coming from John Mitchell. So that would please you, surely. Yeah,
no, it's great to hear that feedback. It is terrific. So, we're just doing our best, and hopefully we're servicing the games to a standard the games require. And one of the great things about footy is not everyone agrees, but that's what generates a bit of atmosphere at games, doesn't it?
Well, it does. And look, you've been. We've been very happy with it. I reckon there was 1 or 2 games I thought they struggled a bit, and that's going to happen. Especially when you got blokes like Cal Clissold running around. But no, I actually told him I was going to bag him. Listen, the 2 new rules. The 2 new rules. I think the umpires are getting the holding the balls and in the backs and that. They're going pretty well with that. The 2 new rules, the stance rule, right? The stand, and I spoke to you about a month ago and said, I think there's a problem with that because the umpires are not quite quick enough to call play on, which gives too much advantage. I rang you back like last week or so and basically said to you, gee, the umpires have improved on that. I wonder why. Because you've been coaching that.
Yeah, we do a skill at training where we're trying to coach them the quick play on call. A quick play on call gets the umpire out of trouble more often than not. Because the last thing we want is to cause a 15-metre penalty because we haven't been diligent around controlling that, and we're looking at the man on the mark and not the player with the ball. So it's an 80-20 thing where we 80% focus on the guy with the ball at the set kick and 20% on the man on the mark. But if we get a quick play on call, that averts all most issues around that set kick control stuff.
And the other one is the 50-metre penalty for dissent. Now, just let me give my opinion on that, right? As far as I'm concerned, you have to eradicate the umpire abuse, right? There's no doubt about that. My opinion is you don't need to do the dissent because dissent's a part of the game for 100 years. If somebody turns around and says to you, go on, Coots, he ducked his head, you're not going to do anything. If he says, come on, Coots, he ducked his head, you so-and-so, you're going to give him 50. And that's always been it, right? But it goes back to me, to the discipline of the players. They know they cannot carry on now, and if they do, they cop the 50. Is that fair enough?
Well, yeah, you're right. And, it hasn't changed to a large degree. It's probably more the remonstration and the how demonstrative it is from a player. So if a player... the players can throw. We've talked about it, our coaching. If it's not in the immediate zone, if it's mid-zone, what was a Hawthorn game and 2 guys in the mid-zone, Jack and the umpire throwing their arms out. Well, we've discussed that we wouldn't expect a free kick for that. Manage your relationship with the players, that's the first thought. But then, if it's different if the player turns his chest towards you. So we've talked body language, and really strong body language from players. That they stare you out. They turn their body towards you, and then they throw their arms out and shaking their head. The combination of all that, then you'd expect a free kick or a 50 as a result of the combination of.
But that goes back
body
to the
language.
discipline of the player, doesn't it?
Oh, it comes from the strength of the top of the club, the the committee, how strong they are around, and had a brilliant discussion with a lady from Bell Park this morning who's a volunteer and the troubles they've had with one of their junior teams, and yet their under-18 team today, boys didn't say boo, they just played footy. They cracked in. They didn't say anything, didn't address the umpires at all. I mean, they had a good win. And then the strength of the coach. I mean, what does a coach tolerate? Does he allow his players to backchat? Does he allow his players, give away a 50 or a free kick? And there's no disciplinary challenges for the player around that. And if players got a green light to do that, the coach's box is abusing or turning their attention towards the umpiring instead of concentrating on whatever their role is on the day, which is about their players and are they in the right place and where they're running to and what's the positioning look like and there's a board right and all that sort of stuff. If the coaches are slack around that area, you'll find it'll flow through to the skipper and their leadership group and then the players on the field. And it's like that's been no different.
No, exactly.
To be honest.
That's what I'm trying to get through. Yeah.
For 40, 50
many years.
Whatever, yeah.
Now, before I hand over to Rob, I just got a text from Ibsy. He reckons he used to flog you at St. Paul's.
I was a lot smarter than Hibbsy, I'll say this. And I didn't like going near him on the footy field because he's pretty undisciplined. And if you outmarked him or, you nudged him under the footy or whatever, he didn't take too kindly to any of that. You could expect a whack behind the ear next time you went near the footy. But anyway.
Three-quarter time here. The seconds, Geelong West of 5-9-39. Bellpost Hill 6-5-41. West have certainly been controlling the game, but as is normal at this level, Grubby, the skill level just drops away a little bit at times, and it's causing West a few problems. But it's a very close and interesting game. 1 quarter to go. Steve, with the training of umpires, younger umpires are obviously keen, open-minded, will take on new information. But as far as this dissent goes, have you had a little bit of difficulty getting the older, experienced umpires who, for years, have let this stuff just run off their back to be consistent with the group to penalise this dissent thing, where even though they don't feel as though it's there?
That's a great question. We have different acceptable standards as individuals, and it's no different in our umpiring group. So we had a good debate early on the year pre-season, and some of our older, experienced umpires have been around a long time, and better umpires, they're happy to tolerate some of this stuff, but it's. And we discuss it. We discuss it most weeks. We give them a reminder that we need to be managing that. But it's about the protection of the whole group. That's what it's about. Yep. And any new young kids, breaking into umpiring for their first game or their first year or whatever. It's really about protecting, having the group having an all-in, both feet in focus rather than some of us doing and others other disagree. But at the end of the day, it's the current laws. And we've got umpire to the current laws. So, Grubby mentioned the rule changes. I think there's been about 40 rule changes since about 2009 or 2010. So that's how many rule changes the game has seen. But we just coach that, and let's just accept it, and we hopefully we get better from round one. But I'll say this that. The clubs have been better at the discipline stuff and getting on with it. Most clubs.
Noticeable, yes.
There's been some clubs that, the old story, the game is out of your reach or you can't make the finals all of a sudden and turn the attention away from what they're doing onto the umpiring, and they have a really poor disciplinary quarter, some clubs, you know what I mean? And the umpires get tested, they've got to be strong around that stuff, and they just can't, just can't let it all go. And you do feel sorry for some clubs, but at the end of the day, you just got to umpire to the current laws. So
I don't want to get you in trouble with your AFL bosses, but those rule changes that have come in, a lot of them have come in because there's been issues at the highest level of the game, and the one that stands out to me is that ridiculous third man up rule, which has been stupid from changes from day one and still is. I don't ever understand why that needed to be taken down through. Of those 40 rules, do you think they've all been necessary to bring back through grassroots footy, or could some of them just have been left to the higher end?
That's another great question. As you know, AFL footy's, it's played at a different skill level, different speed. But understand too that they're producing it's about entertainment as well. So the entertainment factor.
It is at the AFL level. But
it is,
here?
yeah. Well, today with you guys here on the radio, yeah, but less so. Much less so. So they're trying to create a package that will sell, television rights and whatnot. And you'll be surprised that the broadcasters do have a big say around the package that the AFL delivers around game times and what the product is, and if the product is too defensive, they'll put their case forward, and then the AFL, the AFL have a team in an AFL HQ that look at the stats around everything in the game, stoppages, the umpiring as part of that, but what goes on at stoppages, how much percentage of the game is played in the defensive halves. The scoring from a kick in, they have all those stats and they pull the game apart, and then, often for the broadcasters, they'll try and put the game back together in a much more attractive sense for the viewers on TV. So
I think the point of me asking that is that there's been a lot of focus on dissent, as it should be. It's about keeping umpires in the game. But surely to goodness, another thing that's important to keep young umpires in the game is not make it difficult to do. To keep it as simple as possible at the early levels of the game, particularly coming through juniors and even second 18 footy if you haven't umpires. But to keep it simple so they can develop their skills and then add those other things later. But geez, it must be a tough ask on a kid to come in and have to umpire some of these really complicated rules. Yeah,
there's a lot to learn. There is a lot to learn, and it takes. It's like anything, even as a player, it takes a number of games to be comfortable at any level as you progress through the grades. And umpiring's no different. For the newbies, the comfort level, it takes probably 15, 20 games at least, depending on their smarts and their football IQ, how quickly they grab it and run with it. Some obviously grab it and run with it pretty quickly. We got two boys running here today. One's a 15-year-old and one's a 16-year-old. They're in their talent ID programs. So they're ex St Mary's. Well, they're playing St Mary's juniors up until last year, but they've decided that umpiring is a priority for them now, and they've dug in and they'll move really well. They will umpire very well indeed, and then so they're running with one experienced guy, and he's an ex-footballer from Bulleen Templestowe, Chris McWaters, and he played a number of years with Bulleen Templestowe, and he's moved down to Geelong for the lifestyle with his family about 19 years ago, and wandered into umpiring about 3 years ago. So, and he's a great asset for us.
Will you stay here and monitor their performance today?
Yes, I will observe the first half and go
in for afternoon tea. Yeah, good on you.
No. And then I'm off to Newtown, and there's a big game down at Newtown. They play Newtown, and
you're all over it this morning, Robbie. Who are Newton?
South Bowen, yeah, big game.
South Bowen, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a big game. So watch the second half there. I've got an iPad which I can what we call tag the game with free kicks, and it works pretty quickly. And I'll put a few coaching notes in, and the great thing about local footy in Geelong is every game's videoed. So if I tag all the free kicks, the boys can go back and watch and pick up.
There they are there, the boys walking
pick up
past
the notes,
now.
yeah. So they can go back and look at their notes that I've given them, whether free kick is correct, missed or unwarranted, or whether they need to review it.
Well, if they're in the match of the day, they don't need to do that. They can just listen to me.
Well, that's right.
That'll give them some advice.
Yeah, that's right. And be free to dish out a bit of advice today again, Grubby. So
no, I've changed my mind. If I reckon there's a bad one or whatever, I'll call it, but I don't harp on it. You let it go, move
and
on.
Do that. No, and we welcome that. And entertain us while you're doing it too, if you can. So.
Oh yeah, I think I'll do that. Matter of fact, I'm just sitting here thinking, what a great piece of work Dale Smith's done here. A great contribution to the interview. Well done, Dale. Thanks, Grub.
It's been nice to sit back and listen to you blokes give Keats a bit of a thrashing. But, you've been pretty generous to him today, I reckon.
Well, just recently we were talking about the plight of, let's look at Port Arlington, the Ballerine, Anarchy in this competition, and let's say St Albans in the GFL, all struggling at the moment because they got limited depth on their list. You've got the same issue. So as an umpire coach, how do you adjust the way you coach based on the fact that your depth is limited and most of your players are going out each week taking on tasks that are beyond them?
Yeah, so there's two things. As a coach, I'll spend particularly the first half of the year at a lot of GD games with probably our earlier or lower ranked umpires, just to help them and try and coach them to a level to bring them closer to the median standard within the group. And then, although we do rotate some very experienced umpires into GFL as well. So we have an agreement with the GDFL that we'll, all our top grand final umpires, etc., from last year and top ranked umpires this year will be rotated through the GD. And you've got 3 rotated through today who are in pretty good form and been umpiring pretty well. And then, and often what we'll do, like, although the two young boys today are very accomplished, very good umpires for such a young age. But you always have an experienced guy there just to just to settle things, help manage things.
It works quite well. Well,
the
way we've noticed was a young kid that umpired at Anarchy. I reckon did a really good job with an experienced bloke with him there. Mate, as Grubby said, there's still blues are going to be made, but still they don't make as many blues as the players in any game we've ever seen.
Well, without pissing in your pocket, I went and watched Anarchy and Winch at Anarchy on the Sunday, and you umpired with a couple of kids. And the effect on them was quite notable, to be quite honest. You made a few bad ones, but you made sure they didn't. But I did just get a text from Fano saying, "Get that whinge and mongrel off." I don't know what he's got against you, Rob.
Yeah, neither do I. Jeez, Fano, pull up, son. No, you're doing a pretty good job with limited resources. We're aware of that, but it is working. As Grubby, I'll tell you what, if you get accolades from Grubby at the end of each day, which you've had every day, bar a couple of decisions through the game, and they've been pointed out.
Well, even that day I was all right, but I told lies.
I'll capture data on the guys today, and that data goes into a spreadsheet, and they get a score for their performance. Yeah. I know it's only a half a footy, but
I'll send through a score for the second half if you like.
Yeah. Okay. So our rating system is heavily weighted towards free kicks, of course, but they get rated on their skills and management and their movement and positioning and whatnot. So yeah.
So the call out from this is goal umpires, boundary umpires. There is a shortage. It's a fun career. It's a way to make a quid if you're short. Certainly a good family environment to come into as an umpire. Just give us an indication of what sort of numbers and what sort of physical and attendance capabilities you need to join the force.
I tell you what, ex-players are gold for us. Guys that have been around the game and got good footy IQs. We welcome families and whatnot. What's that?
Cranage, is he still umpiring?
Yeah, Phil. Yeah,
Phil's very, very good. He's one of the blokes you're talking about with football experience.
Yeah, and even for Chris McWaters today, Chris is still running around now. He's got a young boy plays for Bell Park, so he was there this morning. But he's still running around with one of the best seats in the house and making a really significant contribution. In his late 40s after having played, some reasonable footy down in Melbourne. So, and that's what can happen. And I must admit, you still have the challenge of trying to get everything right. That's you're always looking to execute the perfect performance, and it's just so hard to do because it's such a dynamic, rolling, random type of sport. So,
how many games will you umpire for the year?
I've done 2 senior games this year because we've been probably one short on the end. So and because they've been Sunday games, I can jump in and have a run, which I still love doing. It's still good fun. But I just do a run around the under-18s and have a run with a young kid that we're looking at for senior footy, and then try and just lead by example, but encourage them to just pay free kicks. You know, because at the end of the day, that's our job.
No worries, mate.
Just blow the whistle and pay the fees. So.
Now, you know I'm not a rude person, but we're going to have to get rid of you because we've got other things to worry about here.
Yeah, you do, yeah.
Thank you, Stephen.
So this will be a good game. This will be a big game today. We've ranked this game pretty highly. So, it's one of the better games in all three competitions for the weekend. So we've given it due respect. Yeah.
Now, looking forward to seeing the teenage boys as we are looking forward to seeing Geelong West for the first time. Stephen Keating, thank you very much for your time. Best wishes with what you're doing. We know it's a big task and we encourage anyone get involved, whether it be boundary or goal umpiring as well as central, but with, certainly lots of centrals being involved. And
we need more females, absolutely. Yep. The girls are terrific.
My just turned 13-year-old grandson's umpiring in footy as well as playing his junior footy and is loving it. It's been really good for his development. It's being well looked after, so it's good stuff. Stephen, thank you very much. We'll go back to you in the studio, David. Have a quick break for some sponsorship announcements. We'll come back and tear round 7 of the GDFL to pieces.
Thanks, Keats.
We're back on.
Have a good day, guys.
Yeah, sorry, I got involved in the conversation. We're ready now. You can put the quarter one on if you like, Dave. Put the first quarter one on.
Say they're controlling the game, now they're losing.
We're back here at the Western Oval, and I must apologise to the Geelong West Giants for putting the Moz on them. As Grubby's correctly pointed out, I said they were controlling the game at three-quarter time, but Belpost Hill have kicked a couple of goals in the last quarter. They've got a lead back, 7 points in front, 6-11-47 to Belpost Hill, 8-6-54. And sorry for that little delay before, but we just couldn't get Steve Keating out of the box. He wanted to have the last say.
He wouldn't go.
All right, boys, we have got a magnificent game here. We'll leave that to last, but this round has probably got a few slightly one-sided contests, but let's go through them quickly. Inverleigh versus Thompson is the best of the rest. We saw Inverleigh lose their first game since August 2019 last week. Would you expect them to bounce back quickly, Grubby?
Look, I would. I spoke to Adam Donahue a couple of weeks ago, and he was of the opinion that Inverleigh weren't playing their best football. And I think he's right. They've got a few out, but I think he's right. But I actually mentioned to him, don't worry about playing your best football now. You've got to play your best football in August, September, in the finals. And he's well aware of that, obviously. But, look, I thought they still played pretty good footy. Everyone says, they lost and how good East were. But it was only, really a 3-point. They kicked the late goal, but it was a good game of football, and I thought they played pretty well. Thompson also played pretty well against Bannockburn, actually. They kept them right close to the finish, but I think, they'll come back Inverleigh today and have a win. But I reckon Thompson will hang in there. They've got that type of side that'll give them trouble all day, and who knows? Bannockburn nearly beat them. East did. Well, who's to say if Thompson can put enough pressure on, they can't. But I'm going to go for Inverleigh. They're just the same.
Is Brent McLeod back in this week or not? Or is he still out?
He's out injured still, I think.
Okay. So what did he do?
A hammy, I think, in the first 10 seconds of the game 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's right. Was that against Bannockburn, was it, or not? Yes or no? The week before. Okay. All right. So, look, as I said, I think there's a few important players on each side and makes a hell of a difference to either of them. So Brent McLeod's one of those ones I thought might have been back in that side, and that would have made a difference. But Inverleigh, they have been going along right. That might have been just a little kick in the backside they might have needed last week, just to smarten them up again. As I said, they were pretty disappointing after half-time, I thought. They actually looked a bit slow, I thought, also after half-time. So whether they've been doing a fair bit on the training track, I'm not too sure, but I reckon an easy week will probably, and a loss will put them back in good stead, and they should win the game.
We saw East Geelong last week, and old Inverleigh legend Sandy McCallum said he enjoyed last week's game more than the Anzac Day game. He thought it was better quality footy from both sides, really loved it. East did shake the chocolates this week. They've got Corio at home, and I suppose only laziness will stop them from winning and winning well.
Yeah, you would think so. And I'll tell you what, I'm not too happy either. I listened to one of the local shows this morning. They said Thompson were a bunch of shirkers. Now, I don't know who said that, but Johnny Mitchell wasn't very happy about it. So, Spider Brady, you have to apologise, I think, for that. Who's playing?
East are playing Corio.
Oh, look, yeah. As I say every week, you've got some pretty good players at Corio in the two Bennett boys and Beston, is it? A couple others, but they need a little bit more help. And they've got a long way to go too. But East last week proved to me that they will be one of the best sides in the comp. To go out and beat Inverleigh at Inverleigh is a fantastic effort. They looked the goods. A few weeks before that, we saw them against Belpost Hill, and they were quite disappointing. But today, I think they'll win and win. Well, they'll win, but they'll win very, very easily too, I think. And if percentage has got anything to do with the top three, they might have to have a big win and get some of that percentage on the board.
Definitely. Dale, do you think they'll get lazy after last week's effort?
No, I don't think they get lazy. I think, as I said, now that they've got themselves back on track, as I said 2 weeks ago when they played against Belpost Hill, I'm probably thinking, how can they actually trouble Inverleigh, Bannockburn, and maybe some of the other scene or the sides we think is going to go all right this year. But to their credit, they did come back and they played a good brand of footy last week. They looked like they still had plenty of run in their legs at the end of the game, as I said, with Inverleigh starting to slow. But they'll go out there, they'll win the game pretty easily this afternoon, and possibly could get quite messy for Corio, unfortunately.
I spoke to Nathan Bissett on the radio this morning. He's aware the rolling draw hasn't served them well. They've won 5 on the ladder. They've only had a crack at Corio for the teams that are not at the top end. They head out to Anarchy today, and although Anarchy have been plucky of late, Grubby, Belmont Lions should have them covered, you'd think?
Yeah, look, I've gone off them a bit, Anarchy. I don't know. We watched them against North, and they gave everything. They went down by 11 points. Admittedly, North were a little bit depleted, but, gee, I honestly thought they'd go out and beat a hugely depleted Werribee. I thought they'd win that game. And they lost it by 23 points, and it just worries me that that's a game that they could have won. And so they're not quite going as well as I thought they would. So, yeah, look, you don't give them that much chance today, but it's going to take time. Someone else said I think it was on the Friday show, they're recruiting people from Werribee or around that area because the coach is from there. And that's not the way to go. Well, that's a lot of rubbish, really, because you just get your players wherever you can from.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know if you could get any other players that would come out there at this point in time. So they've just got to keep battling away, but no, not today.
It's a good point you make, Grubby, because with Werribee Centrals in the competition, Geelong clubs recruiting from Werribee is not all that silly, is it?
No.
If it can help their cause at the time.
Well, they lost a lot of players en masse before the start of last year and brought in a new coach who doesn't know Geelong football that much.
Yeah.
What does he do? He goes to where he knows. Well, I wouldn't say he's a legend, but he's a great name around Werribee football in a lot of those leagues. So that's what he's tried to do. And you can't spend too much money out there, of course. So you've got a few older players to help them out. I just hope that the young players come through and improve.
Dale, being an ex-coach, you've had a tough run at a club. You played sides above you and struggling to win. How important is it for a side like Belmont, young blokes, to really go to today's game against Anarchy and really get as much out of it as they possibly can for their confidence?
Oh, I think it's imperative that they go out there today. They've obviously go out there with a different mindset than they probably had coming up to some other game where they think, gee, if we stay and hang in there, we might be a chance. But I think they go out there today with a real knowledge that they can actually win the game of football. And again, this is another one that if they play their best brand of football, Belmont, because as I said at the start of the year, I thought they would probably be a little bit more advanced than where they were. But again, their run idea hadn't actually gone through their draw. They've sort of been a little bit disappointing. So they've been able to kick massive numbers of goals in quarters, but then for the rest of the game, they can't kick that for the whole rest of the game. So their consistency is the important thing, and obviously with that, they'll get their confidence. And if they can do that today, as I said, they could win this game quite easily, and it may set up the next couple of weeks for them. I'm not too sure where they go for the next couple of weeks, but it'll definitely help them out.
Well, can I just butt in there? I listened to your interview with Bissot this morning, and you asked him a question about who were the best of his young guns. He named about 5 or 6 players, but he didn't name Christian Barsic. So is he still playing out there? Because he's the best of them, I thought.
Well, he has been at the Falcons. They might not be seeing him because he's there. I'm not quite sure.
I knew he was that good. That's why I was a bit surprised.
Yeah, but I know there's big raps on Brock Marnie that...
I think Barsic's going to be a better player.
The siren's gone here. There's a shot for goal after the siren, but it will make no difference to the score. It is a goal by the look of it to West, but it'll take them to 7-12, 54, sorry. Belpo still won the game 9-7-61. So Panther supporters, you got the first one on the board. Grubby mentioned the injury-depleted Werribee Centrals. They've got the longest trip for the year. They go all the way to Winchelsea today, whose last 3 games has shown massive improvement. Tough day for the Centrals, Grubby?
Yeah, I think so. And they left yesterday, actually, to get down there. But I think I was probably the only bloke in the box that hadn't written Winchelsea off early in the piece. You blokes give them donuts. You reckon they were no good. But I could see some improvement in there with their players. And they're improving every week. They probably won't improve enough to challenge for finals, so you're probably right there. But if they can keep that going and improve, they'll shape the finals, and they won't be too far away. Werribee get a couple back this week. Paddy Daly's back. It's his first game back since breaking his finger. I think Dylan Blair from Hoppers is back, but it's just not enough players back to be able to go down to Winchelsea. Although Werribee's record at Winchelsea is really good, but I just don't think they've got the personnel to go down there yet.
A big help to Winch has been Lockie Kendall, who Butch Shaw was really upbeat about. He thinks he'll probably be their best player, and Tom Stevenson is a homegrown lad who's been up at Birregurra. They've both come into the midfield, and that's given them a lot more depth than when we saw them at Corio, and that's probably the reason they've got better in the last couple of weeks, and I think they're really looking forward to the second half of the year, and hopefully we get to see them. But that more grunt in the midfield has certainly helped them in the last couple of weeks, Dale.
It's obviously anyone that can come back into a side and add that, especially if they're quality players and go into the middle of the ground, it just lets the blokes that probably been in there go back to play their normal roles as a half-forward flanker or winging. And again, that just strengthens their side. Now, speaking to Butch, as I said, that day at Corio, he was not disappointed where they were, but he knew that he had a group that he could actually bring along slowly with players coming back. He named, I think, 5 or 6 players that weren't playing that day that would progressively come back through. As you said, they've started to come back through. It's amazing how much those players make a difference. As I said, the bottom 6 go out and the next 6 come through. Things just look so much better on paper and for a start, and confidence just seems to grow around that.
Will there be any chance of an upset up there?
Oh, I wouldn't think so, no. Not at this stage, no.
The other game for today, Bannockburn hosts North Geelong, who promised so much, but they've really struggled. They're lacking injured players to help out their midfield as well, but a couple of disappointing weeks for them, and Bannockburn are looking okay, Grubby.
Yeah, well, they are. They're again, they're going to be in the top echelon of the whole competition. I think they'll be top 3 or 4. North, I don't know how many they get back. They had a few out with COVID last week as well as injuries. And I don't know if Lukey Parker played. He won the game from the week before. I don't think he played. But at the moment, the way they're going, geez, poor old Colin Hounslow, he's taken over his side and got all his COVID injuries. You wonder what struck him. But he'll stick to his guns. He's a pretty good bloke. He got Busey out there to help him. He knows his football. But unfortunately today with Bannockburn, they're a good. So I think they're using the big fella at full forward, Kieran Fulton.
Yep.
And to me, they won their big matches and that with him in the ruck. So it's a little bit of a allowance there. A little bit of a, they can use him where they want him to use him. Blokes like Link Peters, he made the team of the decade. Link, I saw that. Good on your son. Well done. And a few of the others. Well, you know them better than I do. The back's pretty strong. Bowden and those blokes. So yeah, I just think Bannockburn will be far too strong today.
Dale, one of the many clubs you've coached, the Mighty Tigers, how do you think they'll go today?
Yeah, no, look, they've been going along pretty nicely, I think, Rob, so far. At the start of the year when they lost 2 or 3 of their defenders, I thought they may have struggled, but they've been able to put some blokes back into that side and bring some younger players through as well. And some of those younger players, having said that, are 6 foot plus and look like they move pretty well. So they're going along pretty nicely and they're pretty well balanced. I think they'll win the game out there comfortably this afternoon.
Both sides out on the ground here today. Match of the day. I'm really looking forward to seeing West. And interestingly out there, the very dreadlocked Ben Podger Carroll, who has won the last 2 Ivan Tansing medals, best and fairest in the reserves in this competition. I know the senior team would have loved to have had him in there, but for whatever reason he hasn't. But he's out there today, and we'll get a close look at him, and I'm expecting him to go pretty well with good players around him. Grubby, what do you see? I know how much respect and admiration you have for Bellpost Hill, and West are on the way up. Well, they're actually on the top at the moment. How do you see this one going?
This is the start of their test, isn't it? I know they got Bannockburn early, but excuse me, I got a bit of hay fever here. Yeah, they got Bannockburn early, and then ever since then they haven't played anybody. So I think this 3-week block, it's Bellpost, Eastern Inverleigh,
yeah. Yep.
And that's going to be their big test to see if they can stay on the top of the ladder. As I said last week, the rolling draw gives them a really good draw because they play all these sides again in the second round, and the rolling draw, the good draw that they've got, actually coincides with it looks like the best side I've seen them have for many a long day. So all in all, they're looking good. But we're going to find out today, next week, and the week after. At the moment, they have to win today because I just don't think at the moment Bellpost Hill have got a few out. And at the moment, they're not quite, although I know they beat East Geelong, but I think East Geelong and Inverleigh are the top 2 sides, and they've got them in the next 2 weeks, so they'd really want to win this one heading into it. Bellpost, as I said, they've got a few out still. I don't know what's happened with Pagey. Dylan Whitney's back today after that suspension, that 2-week suspension, so he's back. I really don't know who to go for because I just can't get a handle on West. I suppose you'd be a fool to not pick a side that's 6-0, I suppose. So I'll pick them, but there's anything could happen here. We all thought East Geelong would go and beat Bellpost Hill, and Bellpost Hill beat them. So, yeah, I'll go for West, but I'm just not 100% sure.
Dale, we know that Bellpost Hill are hardened and strong, experienced bodies, but we just saw West warming up in front of us. They don't look that going to be short for body strength. There's some big bodies amongst them. They've got a bit of height. They look a well-balanced side.
Yes, look, as I said, again, speaking to a couple of coaches during the course of the season, they reckon for the size that these blokes run down at, the amount of pace they've got with it is definitely going to be valuable to them, not only now, and obviously if they can get to the finals when they go out to St Albans later in the year. So I think that's going to be beneficial to them. But there's, again, it's a bit of the unknown. As I said, Grub, you come and saw them against Bannockburn, and you thought they were probably lucky to get away with that, but they did win that game of football, so that just goes to show that they're prepared to hang into games and have got that desire to get over the top. So looking forward to seeing them this afternoon. I think at this stage, again, only because we haven't seen them and they are at home, I would pick them here. If it had been Bellpost Hill, I think I would have taken Bellpost Hill. So I'm going to take West at home this afternoon and really looking forward to the contest.
Yeah, well, look, as you said, I did see them. To me that night, I thought Bannockburn looked a bit quick for 'em most of the night. So I don't know. Maybe they probably got a different side in too. That's the first game of the year. And I know there's a few more come in. But and plus, like me, everyone, because I'm here, everyone wants to come up and talk to me because being a legend and all. So I probably didn't see a lot of it, and it's hard to see it at night. But
and a modest legend too.
Lucky you bring your own lunchbox, I tell you.
You got to be modest, mate.
All right, the players are heading to their positions. They're going to be easy to tell apart. We've got bright orange and charcoal, the Geelong West Giants jumpers, and the traditional red and blue of the Bellpost Hill Panthers. Lots of names that we've called often and hard out in this game today. Really looking forward to seeing them again. I noticed Bellpost Hill forward lines. Not a lot of height in there, Dale Smith.
No, they take Will Ford out.
Will Ford would be maybe 6'1", and he's even shorter than his opponent.
Yep, and you go back to Costello and Jack Yates at the moment, so that's about as best as you've got now. In the middle, the other side, you've got a couple of young blokes in there. Warrington looks like he's going to do the ruck work for Bellpost Hill, and he's coming up against Jai Bomb. Now, where's young Jai Bomb from?
He's been playing in their GFL side,
okay.
And he's 32, just had work pressures and things, couldn't handle that pressure, so he's eased back. And I guess is this one of the good stories of the conglomeration of the Geelong West Giants playing in two separate competitions.
Yeah.
So he'd come back as a 3 or 4 pointer.
Well, he comes back as a 4. So
yeah, that would make sense out of the GFL.
Yep.
And he's been quite a good player there as well. So we'd expect to see him. He's been named their best player twice this year already. So we'd expect him to be prominent. He'll start off.
So the ball is thrown up in the middle of the ground. Bomb over the top. He does get the ball down again. It's going to be, looked like it was going to be cleared quickly by Bellpost Hill, but they go back and win possession of the ball. They work the ball through Basely. Basely, handball out the back. They push it ball forward, only through the middle of the ground. Coming out there, I think that was Pears had the ball, but he lost it. Ball goes back to their Staggart. He goes quickly into their forward line. Ford comes out into their forward line, picked up there, tried to be cleared away. That was through Viney, but didn't get the clearance as he'd like to. Ball goes now towards the boundary line, will run over, and was going to be thrown in just outside their forward 50. So some good work there. Bellpost Hill into attack quickly. Another interesting inclusion in their side is Dylan Morton, who obviously recently from North Geelong. He must have got a transfer in recent weeks. Ball now thrown back in by the umpire, and again they let the ball run. Basically has the ball, got the handball away, picked up there, Berserker I think it was. The ball goes now back into their forward line. Mark has been taken. It's going to go back, and free kick is going to go to Bagheera. Now he's going to have to go back beyond the mark. So Bangura gets the handball away, and again they run the ball through the middle of the ground. They kick the ball long into their forward line. Again, not too sure who that player was that got the ball down there. Flacavento goes back with the ball. Again, it's working to their forward line. Ball is passed out. Good strong tackle, got the handball back. And again, West, they're mucking around with the ball at centre forward position, but they still maintain possession. They've been held up. They've done pretty well. Bellpost Hill umpire will come in and take possession.
It was Justin Carey who ran through the middle of the ground, highly decorated local player at Ocean Grove, St Albans, and now at Geelong West.
So the ball thrown up in that key position at centre half back, picked up, and they run the ball from defence. They lost it. McNamara put the ball down, but he went back and laid a good strong tackle. They've turned the ball back over again. They win possession of the ball. Handball, Basely looked at the handball, then decided to kick forward, coming up over the top. A young player here in Liam Mills now. He's moved all right so far. Goes looking for Will Ford. Ford can't. The spoil goes away from him. Ball runs towards the half forward line. Coming to pick the ball up. Kieran's got the handball back to Ford. He got the one hand at it, but couldn't hang on to it. Whitney's got it. Looked to get the handball out the back. Ford goes back to assist him. Whitney's back underneath it. Bangura picks the ball up. Didn't get boot to ball, and they run the ball now, and they kick forward through Staggart, I think it is, and he gets the ball into their forward line, and it's gone out of bounds on the full. So we're going to have a throw-in to take place. Well, it's a free kick, sorry. It's out of bounds on the full, isn't it? That's right. So it's a free kick going to the Geelong West side, and Hutchison brings the ball back inside, a short kick. Ball turns over and ends up in the hands of Ianelli. So Ianelli on the half-back line. Transfers the play. Short kick across the ground. They keep possession of the ball, but it goes through Turner. Turner goes further afield. And now they find Slater. So Slater's still inside the defensive 50. Now has an option. Bangura comes up and he takes the mark. A couple of quick possessions. Decides to play on. was aware. Actually, Yates took the ball from his hand. He goes back and collects it. Little kick round the body is also good. Marcus taken out down. I think that's Mitchell a long way up the ground. Goes back towards the half-forward line. Ball goes over and there'll be a throw-in to take place. So we've gone just on 3 minutes and both sides are yet to score.
West being a bit cute there at times, but they worked the ball out of defence really well, the short kicking, so that's probably going to be a feature of their game. Boundary throw-in far side of the ground. It's Bohm and Warrington. Bohm gets it down to the front over the back of the pack. Muir runs onto it, fumbles. Quick kick off the ground. Goes into the centre half forward position for West. Bohm picks it up, kicks across his body. He's going to land right in the square. Players jostling for position. Bounces high away from the pack. Coming through, trying to get the ball is Blake Dyer, the young full forward. He's leading or second in the goal, kicking behind Will Ford. So we've got the best two in the comp here today in front of us.
And a big danger here today is young Bohm. He's a good player.
Yeah,
he's a very good player.
He's done very well. So the ball's thrown in again. Hecker takes it out of the pack for Bellpost Hill. Hand passes across to Muir. Muir gets it to Whitney. Whitney dodges around. He's tackled to Staggard. Staggard kicks the ball forward, but only along the ground. West grab hold of it. Can't get clear of the pack. A quick hand pass straight into the hands of a Bellpost Hill player. He kicks it down the ground, but they're taking a mark for West is Justin Carey. Carey, long drop punt down to centre half forward. Pack forming. Players go up. No one can take the mark. Hits the ground. Bellpost Hill player dragged out of that. Umpire didn't see it. And it looks like it'll be a boundary, be a throw-in. It'll be about right on the 50-metre line, I reckon. West in attack. Still no score on the board. We're about 5 minutes into the first quarter. Punch forward by West, but pack of players jump on it and we'll have a secondary ball up. Still just on that 50-metre line, West into attack here at the newly renovated and very flash-looking Western Oval facility. Punched forward there, but coming into the hands of Bellpost Hill. Kicked forward there at the centre wing. Ball bounces, running onto the ball for West there is Wallace. He can't get hold of the ball. The umpire's blown the whistle. He's found a free kick. And it will be going to Bellpost Hill. And that player with the ball looks like Zane Jones.
Where's he come from? Is he just a recent inclusion or?
And have not seen him. A new addition to the number list here, so they picked him up from somewhere. Dusts himself up, breaks clear. Not quite sure where to go. Hand passes into centre half forward to Harmer. Harmer kicks across the ground and finds a teammate on the far side of the ground. And that is a long way away over there for a set of ageing eyes. Bellpost Hill kick down the line. Yates is running underneath it. Punched away from by Bohm, but grabbed immediately and dragged to the ground for Bellpost Hill. It looks like 24. There, that's Fantella is the last one up off the bottom of the pack. So Bohm tries to get it out of the pack for West. He can't. It bobbles back on the ground. A quick little flick out of hands. Comes across to Baseley. Baseley gets it to a teammate. Kick smothered. Vakura gets it back to Baseley. He kicks forward for Bellpost Hill. Ball bobbles out the back of the pack and will be forced over the line. No, picked up very quickly and kicked forward by Bellpost Hill. But this time it's over the line and out on the full. And Geelong West will take the free kick through Josh Viney. He gets it into the middle of the ground and finds his teammate there in Hutchison. Hutchison across to the middle of the ground and finds James Pearce. Pearce kicks long down the ground, finds Bohm. Bohm's left foot short pass beautifully delivered into hands of a running forward there. It's Mitchell. Mitchell kicks into the forward pocket, goes through the hands of Blake Dye. Can't take the mark. Coming through for Bellpost Hills, Vakura. He can't get the ball. Dye picks it up again, but he's tackled immediately. Ball pubbles out. Bankura gets for West, pushes it forward, but marked quickly is Baseley. Not paid, didn't go the full 15, so Baseley just wanders over the line. Takes it through for one behind. So it's the first score of the game. We have one behind on the board, and we are 7.5 minutes into the first quarter. This would be the Common Nafeen Hotel first quarter.
So the ball's gone out of bounds to the far side of the ground. Is it Dye or is it Dyer? It's got
Dye.
Dyer there, but it's got Dye on the team sheet.
No, I
so
think it's
Dye.
Dye.
It's Dye.
Dye. Right, that's okay. That's what I wanted to make sure.
The other bloke's not playing today either. The bloke we liked for Bellpost Hill is Josh Davis from St Mary's. He's not in there. He was a pretty good player when we seen him too.
So the ball's gone back into their centre half forward position. We're talking about Geelong West forward half, and there's been a hold up of play. Umpire will come in very quickly and take possession. So there's been a few changes in the Belpo Still side.
Yeah.
Ball is thrown up. Now there's a free kick being given.
Like a block, was it?
Well, that's what the umpire's saying. Dill Whitney out of there very quickly. Didn't want to argue with the umpire and give away another 50.
Or get reported again.
So it's going to be, I think, Thomas Burke, I think it's got the ball. I'm just not 100% sure. But he's going to kick from about 35 out. And he steps in, kicks that goal. And it's a good kick off the boot. And if it's number 11, I think it's Thomas Burke.
No, I think it's 18, Samuel Edwards.
Sam Edwards, was it?
Yep.
Okay, so thanks, Grub. Thank God for those glasses.
It's either 18 or 13 from this long way away, but I think you might have it, Grubby.
Yep,
Yeah.
So we'll give it to Sam Edwards. He's got his first of the afternoon. Geelong West now have their first, and it's 1-1 to the Geelong West side. Belpo still obviously yet to score, and we've gone just on 9 minutes. Conifine Hotel, first quarter scoreboard.
Yeah, it took a long time too, and both sides are going in pretty hard, and it's pretty desperate footy. But look, the wind's not going to hurt anybody. I think you've got no advantage either way here today, and I just want to watch this ruck contest. Belpo still got killed in the ruck against East by a non-ruckman in Fanning, and this Bohm, he can ruck a bit, so he might have a field day here. He might be the big danger for West.
He's up against Bernie. Bohm gets it down, and effectively too, because it comes straight into the path of Wallace. He kicks down forward. Dye runs over the back of the pack, picks up the ball, snaps across his shoulder, and that is a wonderful goal for Geelong West. He's a tall, slender fellow, this Dye. He's kicked a pair of sixes in the last 3 weeks, and it was a very effective pick-up and snap across his shoulder, and they're away, Grubby.
Well, again, it started from this big fella in the ruck. I think he's going to dominate, and I just think Tari might have to just go one-on-one at centre bounces and try and even it up at ground level. Otherwise, they're going to get goals like that. It's going to get in the forward line that quick. It gives the defenders no chance whatsoever. But look, I've been saying that, Belpo still blokes out here and there. But Michael Lima's not playing either for West Giants, and Michael Lima has proved over the last couple of years he's been one of the better footballers in the competition, so they'll miss him too.
So it looks like Cameron Brown going in now for the west side to do the ruck work. So Brown's there, Bernie over the top. Ball comes out of the and goes to Whitney. Whitney goes quickly into the forward line. Yates comes across, picked up there, chip over the top, goes back into their forward line. Ford comes out. Nice trap of the ball, looking for some options, decides to go around the body himself, back towards the goals. It will bounce, but offline and through for a minor score. So their first score of the afternoon, Belpo still is a minor. It's 2-1 now, Geelong West, one behind to Belpo still. They play on very quickly. Ball comes out wide, and it's going to be very wide. Ball's delivered out there by Turner, and the back of the ball has gone out over the boundary line.
Yep.
So it's going to be a free kick out there on the far side of the ground. So Belpo still maybe a little chance to bring the ball back in through the corridor. Mark is taken out there, this time by Danielle. And he has got the ball just outside their 50. Goes looking towards forward. That's a good kick. And
great defence.
Yeah, it was too. Picked up by Vasurka. Puts it back into the forward line. Costello's able to bring ball back to ground. Picked up by Whitney in the pocket. Screws it back towards goal. I tell you what, that's not a bad
great kick.
And Dill Whitney has put it straight through the middle. He gets his first goal of the afternoon. And the first for Belpo still. It is 1-1 Belpo still. They trail West on 2-1. And almost 11 and a half minutes gone. First quarter, Conifine Hotel scoreboard.
Well, he's made an impact first up, back from suspension, and they've probably missed him a fair bit. But I like Costello down there. A lot of forwards trying to, they don't think they have to punch because they're not defenders, but that punch went to a Belpo still play. He had the punch from behind. He did. Good play. If I was West, I'd be trying. I don't know what sort of an engine Bohm's got. He's just come back. I think this is his first game back. They need him in there as long as they can.
He's gone down to full forward. In the ruck now for West is Cam Brown. Punches it down. Coming over the back of the pack. Brown gets it back again. A quick hand pass to Hoare. He kicks down to the forward line, but coming out reading the play well is Muir. And Muir for Belpost Hill takes a relieving mark. Comes across the ground and a dangerous kick, but it's effective. Or mark drop brings West back into the game. Comes over the pack. Whitney's just kicked that last goal. Picked up the crumb on the half-back line. Tries to get a hand pass to Vakura across to Warrington. Warrington to Danielle. He's trying to break through the middle of the ground. It's a neat little hand pass. Releases Bernie. Bernie hand passes across to Morton. Morton back to Costello, I think it was. He hand passes away, but West have got the ball back. A quick kick out of the pack. The umpire's blown the whistle. And it's coming back, and on the bottom of the pack, coming up to take the ball will be Burke for the West side. He's just on the edge of the centre square. Centre wing. looking for an option forward. He runs around now. The umpire calls play on a neat little pass, looking for Dye, and he comes out and takes a strong mark on a long lead. So he's shown a bit of versatility already. He's picked up crumbs, he's snapped a goal, and now he's going to have a set shot from goal after a good long lead from full forward. He's going to be kicking a long way. He's probably going to be about 55 metres from where he kicks, I imagine.
Well, that snapshot he did went straight over to the house next door, so he can kick it for, and that was only a snapshot, so he can kick, I think.
He's a tall, slender young fellow. Comes in with a bit of a skip in the run, but he gets a hold of it, but it's very much a 9-9. Chips into the forward pocket. Coming out for Bell Post Hill, relieving the pressure. The middle of the ground, Dye comes in, lays a tackle, but can't release the ball, and Muir for Bell Post Hill takes the mark. Kicks across into the pocket. I think that's Danielle. No, it's Bashley. Marks the ball back to Vicura. Vicura hand passes to release Muir. He's dragged down just as he kicked it. West are going to pick up the loose ball back into the pocket. It's Mitchell who kicks into the forward pocket. Can't quite hold the mark there. A teammate, West, get the ball through a Staggart. He kicks to the half-back flank. Coming through strongly as a pack of players. Yates can't get hold of the ball. West snap it again quickly through Carey. Goes forward. Bankura takes what he thought was a mark. Umpire said, no go, son. It bounced. He was tackled immediately, and there will be a throw-up. Ball's thrown up, tapped away, but not too far. Warrington gets it. He's going nowhere. Dragged down, and we'll have another ball up. It's about half forward flank for the West. They're in attack. They're leading 2-1-13, 1-1-7, and we're just coming up to 15 minutes into the first quarter. Bobbles over the back of the pack. Staggard gets it for the Panthers. Kicks forward, but Mitchell for Geelong West takes the mark. Half forward flank, pointing as if he's going to kick it along into the forward line.
Is that Braden Mitchell?
Yep.
It looks different for some reason.
Might have dyed his hair. He's having a set shot. He's aiming for the goals, but he is a long way out. Hopefully he makes better contact than Blake Dye did. Oh, short little kick. That's a shocker towards Dye. Coming through for Bell Post Hill is Morton. He tries to break a tackle and does, but that tackle forces him out of bounds. And we'll have a boundary throw in. Forward pocket for Geelong West, leading 13-7 at the 15.5-minute mark in the Common Nafeen Hotel first quarter.
So ball will be thrown back in now on the half-forward line. West doing a fair bit of the attacking in this early part of the game. It's thrown back in quickly now. Bernie gets the ball down. Again, clearance is not too quick at the moment. Players around the contest. Umpire will come back in quickly. Now he's called for a drag in, has he? So it's going against Dye, and it's going to Morton. So Morton now for Bell Post Hill. Has a player out the back door. He'll go that way, back towards, and we'll find Flacavento across the ground. Vasurka in some space by himself now, can run and carry the ball. Takes the first option, has a bounce, goes short towards McNamara, and he takes the mark. So McNamara now just short of his centre wing, looking for his options further afield. A little short option. Yates comes up and presents. So Yates now has options across the ground. He's going to go looking towards Dill Whitney. Has to be a good kick. Bangira gets in his hand and puts the ball to the ground. Ball comes out the back. Ends up in the hands there of Slater. Slater goes back towards centre wing. Bangira puts the hands in the back then. Got a little bit away with it. Goes back towards Morton. Ball is now kicked over the boundary line, and there's going to be a throw-in to take place.
And just while that ball's coming in, the YouTube channel is apparently very good. So if you're listening and want to watch on YouTube, you can get it and hear the same broadcast. Just look at GDFL on YouTube.
So on centre wing, the ball will be thrown back in. Ruckman come in. Ball goes back to the front of the contest. And again, a number of players around Morton laying another tackle. And the umpire will come in quickly to take possession of the ball.
I think Yatesy, couldn't he kick straight down here and right kick long?
Should have.
But he comes from out here. He got a 40-metre head start.
So the ball now picked up West. They bring the ball back. It goes back into the hands there of Ianelli. Ianelli round the body, goes back into their forward line. Marcus taken out there. White has it and goes back into their forward line. Good front position held by Bell Post Hill. I think that may have been McNamara. The ball now in dispute as it comes out of the contest. Vasurka puts his head over the ball. He is tackled and he will be held up. Umpire will come in and take possession of the ball. Only about 10 or 15 out from the full forward position.
That's Justin White. I think it's his 100th game today too.
Who's that?
Justin White.
Okay. So the ball now thrown up, and again, very quickly a tackle is laid. Umpire will repeat what he has just done and throw the ball into the air. Top of the goal square. Again, ball comes out, picked up, and is kicked towards goal. And I think that may have been through Wallace, and the ball goes through for a minor score, was it?
Yep.
Yes, it was.
Yep.
So moves Geelong West now to 2-2. Bell Post Hill 1-1. 18 minutes first quarter. Commonwealth Hotel first quarter scoreboard.
What I meant to say before the game, and I forgot it, I had it written down, but they've kicked something like 78 goals, 87 or something for the year. So if they don't kick straight against the good sides, they're going to be in trouble. So they've just got to kick straight.
I reckon it might even be more. You reckon?
Well, the man who
Points,
can
definitely.
kick is Dylan Whitney. He's got the ball.
97-98.
Yeah.
He comes out for, can't find a teammate. Hecker gets it, tries to hand pass out. A quick little kick goes forward. West pick up the crumb. Oh, tackled immediately, gone no far. Podger Carroll gets it. He can't break away from the pack. Staggard wins a free kick, plays on immediately to Baseley. It's punched away from Bell Post Hill forward. I think that's Danielle. Kick forward, but Justin Carey is alone at true centre half-back and takes a mark in defence for Geelong West. Kicks it across goal, looking for a teammate there in Slater. Slater gets it back into to his teammate there in Turner. Turner across to the back pocket. They are fumbling around. Back this side, and Slater has it now. Short kick over the top by Slater. Finds his teammate there in Ionelli. He kicks down the line, punched away. Coming through for Bell Post Hill there. Trying to get possession of the ball is Jones. He hand passes to a teammate, but immediately Dylan Whitney grabs hold of the ball. He's pushed over the boundary line. And right in front of these flash new rooms here at the Western Oval, the boundary umpire has the ball in his hands.
Isn't it great to hear the call Ian Alley here at West? What a famous name here it is, Ian Alley.
It's been a while.
Hey, the great Frankie.
Punched away in the pack there from Warrington. Coming through strongly for West there was Mitchell, but he's in the back of his opponent. And I think it's Dylan Whitney, and he'll take a free kick, centre wing. Kicks into the middle of the ground. Finds Baseley. Quick hand pass to Danielle running past. Out to Harmer on the half-forward flank. Hand passes it back indoors there to Fantella. He can't get away. Danielle's got it now. Quick kick back, looking for a teammate, but coming across, making a good relieving mark. Is the aforementioned Matthew Ionelli for the Geelong West Giants. Famous name
Marty,
in Cheetah's names. Cheetah days. Oh, it's a drop mark, which gets Geelong West side back into the game through Bell Post Hill back in the game through Staggart. He gets the ball forward. Danielle can't break free. Quick little hand pass out. Oh, that's a great little pick up there by the West player, but there's a nest of Bell Post Hill players around. They can't break free. It's Warrington who's got the ball. The umpire said he had it too long when tackled. Staggart, actually. And a free kick will go to the West defenders. Can't see who it is over there, but they've got the ball half-back flank. They're going to come backwards. And Ionelli marks again in the back pocket for Geelong West. He's got an option in the square behind him, but he's decided to go round the man on the mark and kick long down the line looking for Bankura, but very good use of the body by Baseley. The umpire has allowed that to go, which it should. No hands involved there, just very strong body work. Baseley kicks the ball back into the forward line, looking for Danielle. He uses his body well, traps the ball. Low kick into the forward line, looking for Ford on the lead, just bounces in front of him. Can't pick the ball up. Whitney tries to get it, but it's over the boundary line. Forward pocket showing underneath the scoreboard, showing West 14, Bell Post Hill 7, and we've just gone past 21 and a half minutes into the Common Nafeen Hotel first quarter.
So Cameron's going to be doing the ruck work. Also down there, ball tapped out by Warrington. Ball is now in dispute with the umpire coming in very quickly. Didn't allow that to run. And it's going to be a ball up 20 out from the Bell Post Hill goal. So Warrington now back doing the ruck work, as we said. Brown also for Geelong West. Ball tapped out the back, goes towards Ian Alley. He's racked up a number of possessions off that half-back line. Ball doesn't get to his teammate. Basically, he's going to be the first to arrive. Nice, clean pick-up, handball. Actually went for a handball, then decided to kick the ball into the hands of Staggart. Quickly, had more time than he thought, I think. Ball's gone back towards the goal square, kicked off the ground, picked up. West, they will run it through for a minor score. So Bell Post Hill now to 1-2, and West are on 2-2. Ball is going to go back and be picked up by the defence. And going to be kick out clearance. They're looking to club to the club room side. They go to side to go straight down the ground. The mark has been taken out there, this time by Slater. Slater now decides to go back to the far side of the ground. That's another good kick put out in front, and the mark has been taken out there. This time I think it's Burke. So Burke quickly up over the top, goes looking towards Mitchell. Mark not taken. He goes back and collects it. Got the handball away. I tried to. In the end, he got his boot to the ball, but Belpo still now has some numbers around the contest. They are tackle. Ball comes down in that tackle. Again, there's some pretty heavy work being done in the middle of the ground. Umpire says it's not going to come out, and they're very quickly on it today, and they're going to have another ball up inside the centre square, just favouring the Geelong West end. Ball thrown up. Again, Warrington doing the ruck work. Ball is picked up and cleared. They go back into attack now. Geelong West goes into their half-forward line. This time it was Fraser that had the run of the ball. The handball comes over the top, goes back towards Ianelli, looks towards goal, goes in towards Dye. Can't take the mark, has it in the pocket. Got the handball back. That was okay. Wallace is there. Umpire says it has gone over the boundary line, so we're going to have a throw-in to take place.
Yeah, that was good umpiring. Then the boundary umpire got caught short. He was a long way, but the goal umpire was waving arms, signalling that it had crossed the line in that forward pocket. So throw in there. Hecker for Belpost Hill tries to get it down to a teammate. They do a very good job. Oh, that's a kick by Danielle. The right intention, but he just got too much on it, and it's gone out on the full half-forward flank. West will come back into attack. With the ball now for them is Burke. So Burke for West, a low drop punt in the middle, but it's quite poor because Dylan Whitney has come in and intercepted with a mark just on the 50-metre arc. He got in front of the leading forward, which was Edwards, I think. And the ball's come out into the back pocket. I think it's McNamara there for Belpost Hill, has it? He kicks down the line looking for Harmer, and he finds him. So Harmer now for Belpost Hill on centre wing. Looking for options, runs around the man on the mark. Umpire calls play on, just tackled.
Nobody home.
But he's kicked it straight to Ben Podger-Carroll, and he's marked at centre half back for the West side. As I said, a two-time reserves best and fairest winner, having a little bit of a go at senior footy. That's a lovely left foot drop punt down the line, looking for Bone, but coming in taking a strong mark for Belpost Hill is Morton. Read that very well, and he's been quite noticeable in the first quarter for the Panthers. A neat little kick for him, coming down looking for Yates, but intercepting there well for Belpost Hill. Gin tried to get it. Brown's on the ground for Geelong West, but Yates gets it, kicks the ball almost straight up in the air. No one really wanting to get under it. Yates comes through very strongly, bobbles the ball forward to Burney. Quick little kick off the ground by Burney, but ball is picked up and immediately forced over the line. That was indeed Hutchison. Carried the ball over the line. We'll have another throw in. Directly in front of the commentary box here, half forward flank, Belpost Hill in attack. Burney is forced off the ball there from West by Brown, punches it forward out of the pack, and we'll have a secondary throw in. Around 14 plays 8, West in front, and we're 26 minutes into the Common Nafeen Hotel first quarter here at the Western Oval.
The ball will be thrown back into play. Now this is an infringement, says the umpire. It's going to Burney of Belpost Hill. So Burney now indicated a holding decision. So Burney now decides to go long, back into their forward line. Ford comes out, had eyes on the ball, and he has taken the mark. Umpire says that is okay.
So does
he will
Grubby.
go back, and he will now shoot for goal.
He had his eyes on the ball, his hands in the air, and he actually pushed the bloke out with his body like you're supposed to. None of his hands or anything. He used his body beautifully.
Hand looks a bit better than last time we saw him grub.
Yeah, it was the bloody beasting.
Yeah. So he's now got the ball and going back within range. Going to kick from about 40 to 45. Kicks that goal. Allows for it nicely, but won't come back far enough and through for a minor score. So Will Ford with 2 behinds for the afternoon. Belpost Hill now 1-3. Trailing Geelong West on 2-2. 27 gone first quarter. Common Nafeen Hotel first quarter scoreboard. It's going to be brought back into here by Viney. Goes short to the pocket as far as Hutchison. Hutchison now goes further afield. They've positioned that up nicely. They've got the ball outside 50. So now just settle things down as the siren has sounded here to end the first quarter. Which we'll see the Giants going at 2-2-14. Belpost Hill 1-3-9. Goal kickers Dye and Edwards for the Geelong West side. And Dill Whitney has the only goal for Belpost Hill. Going to take a short break. Come back with first quarter comments from Grubby. You're listening to 94.7 The Pulse, your home of local football.
Yeah, welcome back to the Western Oval for the Buckley's Entertainment second quarter, and what a great institution that has been for the Geelong and District Footy League and footy in general in Geelong. We've come out here to see the top of the table undefeated Geelong West Giants. They're 2-2-14, Bellpost Hill 1-3-9. Our first sighting of the Giants, Grubby. Have you liked what you've seen?
No, I haven't, but before we go there, I just want to, I know he texted me, so I better say it. Anarchy reserves have been knocked off.
Oh.
For only the second time this year by Belmont Lions by 4 points. So,
and Cogsy's happy.
Cogsy's, yeah, well, he probably is. And you asked me if I was happy? No, I'm not. It was, to be quite honest, it was bloody hard to watch the whole quarter. It was one of the poorest quarters I've seen for many a long day. There were blokes kicking it to other blokes on the other side, kicking along the ground. Nice, easy, unpressured kicks going anywhere. And I tell you what, with the two of the best sides who were, well, both of these sides could play final. So you'd want a little bit of performance about both of those sides, because I thought it was a bloody hard game to watch. Nothing happened. 2-2 to 1-3. It wasn't so much just the scoring, but nothing seemed to happen. I don't know. Maybe they're both going in hard enough for the ball to put each other off. But amongst that, I thought Dye looked dangerous. Ian Ellie had a fair bit of the footy. Burke. Sam Edwards kicked a nice goal, and as I said earlier, the Jai Bowman, he looks probably going to be the danger in the ruck. Over to the Panthers. I think Brody Hecker was all right early. Yates is playing a bit of a captain's game. He bowled a few over with his eyes on the footy, which is great. Cubby, base is all right. Whitney was good. Dylan Morton, the ex-North Geelong player, was pretty good too. But look, other than that, I'd rather see the standard lift a little bit. You got beautiful conditions. There's no excuse. You've got to go out and play some really good football, and I hope they play it in the second quarter, because I was a bit disappointed in the quarter. So I don't know what you blokes thought, but that's what I thought.
It was hard to call. It was horrible and scrappy and ugly, and it might be just a little bit of settling themselves down. Let's hope so, because I was definitely looking forward to seeing a better game than that.
Well, so was I, and maybe I'm being lulled into the fact that I expected a really good game and I'm not getting it. So it might not be as bad as what I'm saying, but I'm a little bit disappointed, because I thought we'd get a better standard of footy.
Now, speaking of disappointed, the new wonderful AFL app is not working, or there's no scores on it. So if you're supposed to be loading scores up at one of the other grounds, please do it. If not, could you send Grubby or myself a text message, or Dale Smith if you've got his number, and just let us know what's going on at the other grounds. But sadly, we've got nothing to inform you about other action. Dale,
7 weeks. What do you expect?
Dale, what did you think of the first quarter of this much anticipated match of the day?
Yeah, actually, I thought I'm probably, I know it's a close contest and all the rest, but I expected a little bit more from him myself. But I think that Jai Bomb, I haven't seen him since he moved to the forward line, and now he doesn't seem to be in the huddle at quarter time either. So I'm not too sure whether he's sustained an injuries, but he's over here in the boundary line doing some stretching and squats with the trainer. So let's hope he gets back out there, because obviously when he was there, he gave him that first link out of the middle of the ground. Again, I probably tend to agree with Grubby. You know, as I said, we don't agree with Grub too often, but
I don't say that too often either.
No, well, you're probably right, Grub. But you sort of, it was a bit like the Bellpost Hill and the East Geelong game a couple of weeks back. I was pretty disappointed when I came away from that. It didn't reach the heights that I thought it or assumed it would, and it was just probably the match up on the day. But Bellpost Hill, you know, to their credit, they're hanging in there. I don't know if there's a team that's advantaged by any breeze or anything out there in the ground. So you couldn't get better conditions at this time of year to play footy. And so let's hope they're just warming up things and things start to open up for either side. And let's hope we've got a really, really good game of football for the rest of the 3 quarters.
I'll tell you what, you don't want that bone going down, because I didn't quite get a chance to explain it, but when we saw East Geelong and Bellpost Hill, they got the best ruckman in the comp in McLennan, a lot of people say, and because when he went down, they had to throw Fanning in, and he nearly won the vote. He would have won the votes if East had won it. So it just shows me they haven't got a ruckman. I know they're trying to get Ren Lovett back, but you don't know what condition he's going to come back in, because he's a big lad.
But didn't he be cleared to that Great Western as well?
Yeah, they want him back. They want to try him back. Timmy Barton will be back too in a few weeks.
Well, he hasn't gone either then.
No. You know,
So the app is working. We've got Ballaroon scores, Anglesea 26, Newcombe 8, Barwonhead 71, Port Arlington 1 at quarter time, Drysdale 21, Mottawarri 25, and Torquay 29, Queenscliff 6. So the machine works. We just need people to feed some information into it. Second quarter, it's the Buckley's Entertainment second quarter. The umpire holds the ball aloft. Dale Smith gets some action going.
Yeah, well, we just see the boys warming up in the boundary line here. A couple of them, Bohm's one of them, Lima the other. Ball is thrown up in the middle. Bernie's doing the ruck work. Ball is tapped down. I think Cameron got the ball down. Bernie went back and had a second swipe at it, but it's going to be taken out of there by Brown. Brown gets the ball into their forward line. Working hard as White again. They pick the ball up now from that half forward line. They go back in towards their forward or centre forward position again. They come out. Marker's not taken. Picked up there, but the handball was from Edwards. He turned the ball over. It actually didn't hit his teammate. Went back and collected it. Was taken high and or held without the ball, says the umpire. And there's going to be a free kick, and it's going to go to Sam Edwards, who has one of the 2 goals for Geelong West. Now, where's he from, Grub? Who
is he?
Sam Edwards. Is he a Ballerine, one of the
Ballerine
crew?
Yeah, he's a Ballerine player. He's a 4-pointer.
Yep.
So he must have won a best and fairest to get 4 points from Ballerine, you would think.
So Edwards comes in.
He didn't win the goal kick, and I can tell you that.
Actually, he's missed from about 30 out, and he's missed everything by the way the umpire indicated there. So that wasn't a great finish for him.
Too close to the man on the mark again.
Probably a little bit. McNamara. It's a bit hard to notice, bro, without their long sleeve jumper on. They've got the short sleeves this afternoon. He goes long, goes looking towards Yates, comes up, has one go at it. Unfortunately, the ball came over the boundary line and will be thrown back in.
Just while the umpire's getting the ball, GFL, Bell Park 23, Lara 21, Colac 27, Geelong West 8, Leopold 11, Grovedale 13.
Ball thrown back in.
Comes from?
Where from?
Drysdale.
Oh, okay, yep. Into the hands of Whitney now from that throw-in contest. He goes back towards their centre forward position. Mark is taken out there. A nice mark too. And that's through Hutchison. Hutchison gets the handball away. They run through the half-back line. They put themselves under a little bit of pressure. They're going to get out maybe if they're good enough. They're going to have a little bit of time and space. They bring the ball back towards their centre half-forward line. Bangira come up. He couldn't take the mark into the hands now of Iannelli, and he goes into their forward line once again. And that was well read there by Hecker, who came across and got his hand on the ball.
I think the sun got in the young kid's eyes.
Yeah,
he just sort of hesitated for a minute. He couldn't see it.
Just stopped and watched. So we're going to have a throw in the half-forward line. We said Brown doing the ruck work. Well, actually, it was going to be a teammate that did the ruck there. Picked up by Yates. Tried to get the handball away. Didn't go too far. And again, Popo still laying some good pressure around the contest. And that was on the other side of the ball there.
That's a few he's got now, Yates.
Yep.
Pearl, perfectly legal.
He's
playing good, strong footy.
So thrown up again, Bernie doing the ruck work. This time it's tapped down by Brown once again. Whitney Winston collects it, got the handball towards Yates, missed him. Again, the interception out there. This time was Higgins. Couldn't get the ball away into the hands of Staggard. Staggard gets the ball further afield. Umpire says incorrect disposal. Coming back, free kick is going to go to Wallace of Geelong West.
Yes, it was an interesting handball, I thought.
So Wallace is just wondering where the ball is, but it's at full forward the other end of the ground, so has travelled a fair distance. Wallace now has the ball back in his hands and just forward of their centre position, looking to get the ball into their forward line. Dye is the first player to lead, comes up at the ball, actually went the wrong way. McNamara read that nicely. He goes back and collects it, a little bit of time and space, settles himself, jump up over the top, and that's good, and it finds Staggard. Staggard now looking to go across the ground. Kick has to be good and was. Mark is taken out there. And I think this is Jones out there on the far side of the ground. Jones now goes back towards centre wing. Bernie's a target, but didn't have the distance. The mark has been intercepted there by Geelong West. They bring the ball back to Bangira. Bangira takes the mark, and he's just inside the centre square. And their attacking end, White leads up at the ball, decides to go a little bit longer. Again, went towards Flaccavento. I'm not too sure it was favoured Dye. Got the handball away, goes to Baseley. Baseley looks to get the handball away, can go towards McNamara under a bit of pressure. Kicked around the body, but Bangira read that nicely, and he comes in and takes the mark.
He's been very lively today, Grubby, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been lively, but he hasn't had many kicks. He runs around and runs around. He's got to get into it. I reckon.
I'm not too sure what this holding the ball up in the air means, whether they're going to kick for goal, and that's just a symbol for someone to lead at him because he can't get the distance, but we'll soon find out. He's the next Dragon too. I think he was at Bell Park for a short time. So Bangura comes in, kicks that goal. Won't have the distance, going to land in the square. McNamara couldn't take clean possession of the ball. Again, West with some numbers around it, goes to Mitchell. He actually left the ball behind. White came through, tried to take it out. Morton's now on hands and knees. He's underneath the pack. Umpire says it's going to come back to me, right at the tip of the goal square, and there's going to be a ball up which will take place. We've gone for nearly 5 minutes. The score has not changed at this stage. And again, the ball is circling around. Morton tried to force his way through the contest. Umpires again let things go. He will come in and take possession once again.
He just threatens to tear someone apart, this Bangura. He looks like he's going to tear him apart and kick goals, but at this stage he hasn't done it.
So it's Hecker, left-hand palm down to the advantage of Flacavento. He kicks across the body quickly, but it's landed in the arms of Matty Ianelli, half-forward flank. Be a very tight angle. He'll be kicking from 45 metres. I don't know what his leg's like, but he's got a little bit of bruise. If he favours that right post, it should just guide in nicely if he's got the distance. He's very confident, goes back, leaves the boot. The curve in the ball was there, but he started it too far wide. Another behind. 2-3, 15 Geelong West now. Bellpost Hill 1-3-9. We're 5 minutes and 40 seconds into the Buckley's Entertainment second quarter here at the Western Oval.
What worries me with Bellpost, one side it has to break the game open. And the way they're running, it looks like it might be West. They look like they're just holding on Bellpost unless they can pull something out the bag.
Flacavento runs out from the square, kicks a horrible-looking kick, but it lands
beautiful pass
in the arms of Yates. He kicks it in the middle of the ground, and Vasurka has the ball for Bellpost Hill. Man on the mark's on the 50-metre arc, so they're not out of the danger zone yet. He runs around, kicks out wide, and then there's a very poor quick again. I'm not quite sure who he was even aiming for, but the boundary umpire is the one that's got there first, out on the full. And West have got the ball back on centre wing. I think it's Justin Carey. Long kick from him to centre half forward. Pack of players. Mitchell's in the front. Card hold of the mark. Bankura gets it, but he's dragged down immediately and will have a ball up. 40 metres out from the Geelong West goal. They're leading 15-9 here in the Buckley's Entertainment second quarter. Ball goes up. Hecker does a very good job again to lay it down in front of Vasurka. He can't
get away from the footy, and that's a good decision.
The umpire has given him a free kick for the reasons Grubby has explained perfectly. So the slightly built backman will have the ball for Bellpost Hill. Aaron Vasurka played a very good game, and we saw them last when they surprisingly beat East Geelong, and he started off well again today. Back to Flacavento. He kicks out into the back pocket for Morton. Over his head. Gets West back into the game with a chance. Mitchell it is who runs past, gets a hand pass away, but the umpire said, "You're out of bounds, son." It was Billy Higgins trying to con him. Couldn't get away, but we'll have a boundary throw in now. Western attack leading 15-9. Ball's thrown in, it's Brown and Warrington. Warrington gets down to the front of the pack. Ianelli gets the ball, but it's run over the boundary line. We'll have a secondary throw up right in front of our commentary position here at the Western Oval. Nearly 8 minutes into the Buckley's Entertainment second quarter. Ball's waiting to come back in. Warrington and Brown. Brown punches the ball forward for West. Coming out is Vasurka. He's tackled immediately, can't get away. Players are leaping on top of the ball. A big pile of them. We'll have a ball up. 35 metres out from the West goal. They're in attack, as they have been for most of this second quarter, looking the stronger side, but they just can't get any system going. Only one behind scored in the 8 minutes we've had so far. Bohm's back on the ground. He gets the ball onto hand. Edwards comes through, can't get it. It's Staggart for Bellpost Hill, trying to win the balls out of his possession. Quick kick out of the pack to Ianelli. He runs through the pack and kicks a delightful goal to break the monotony here. Whitney and Evans have got a bit of a conflab. Bankura's come in to add his weight to it, and we've got quite a few players involved in a bit of push and shove and wrestle at centre half forward. The goal is recorded. It's on the board. What the umpire does here, we're not quite sure.
He'll just go and ball it up. It's only a bit of push and shove. You're right, Bankura went to lend his weight and got flat.
Absolutely
he got dragged to the ground. I think Yatesy got him, and he's the one bloke. He's as strong as a bull, but there's still a bit of anger there. But look, I'll tell you what, they're doing what I say every week. When they get it down here, they're holding it in. Now, yep, they're not scoring a lot, but again, that one was a result of just hold it in. Young Vasurka's had a go at Bangor. Mate, he's a little bit bigger than you. I wouldn't be doing that. I wouldn't be doing that. Not always looking anyhow.
So we're back in the middle of the ground. And again, Ruckman about to go at it in the middle. Either player gets a good, clean hand on it. Picked up there, Yates, and there's a free kick being given. And going to go Bell Post Hill way, or actually the umpire
No, he
now.
can't do that.
I was going to say he stopped the play, so it has to come back.
Bohm is Bohm's back on the ground, Grubby, but he may have an injury where he's just lobbed in the goal square.
I've been watching him around here, and he looks like he's actually struggling a little bit with a leg injury. I don't know what it is, but got a lot of bandages just below the right knee, so maybe it's that. But he just doesn't look like he's moving that well, because if he was, they've got no doubt that he'd be in the ruck at the moment with the lack of ruckman that the Bell Post Hill Panthers have got.
Yeah, so Staggard now with the ball right in the middle of the ground, looking for his options. He decides to go straight down the middle of the ground. Will be okay. Mark not taken out there again. They look to clear the ball out. Unfortunately, umpire says, "What?" I don't know whether he had much of an opportunity to get rid of it there, but there's been a hole in the ball decision, and it's going to be picked up. Bangura goes out sideways. Mark is taken in the back pocket. Handball comes over the top. So Hutchison now with the ball goes back towards their half forward. That's a nice looking kick. Good spoil from behind by Staggard. Picked up. West have the ball, but again,
dropping the ball.
Bell Post Hill goes to Staggard, and they go to Vasurka. Vasurka goes back towards centre wing, running with the flight of the ball, and Mark is taken out there. Harmer. So Harmer now has options in the middle of the ground. He ignores that and decides to go long down the middle. Mark not taken in the front. Goes towards the boundary line and will go over it as Kieran tries to keep it in. But
That's the only thing I disagree with Steve Keaton and his umpiring philosophies. He says pay free kicks, pay free kicks, pay free kicks. I say, unless they're blatant, let it go, let it go, let it go. That's my idea of GDFL footy, but he's the umpire's boss.
thrown in now by the umpire again. Ball is tapped back towards the boundary line. Again, players run towards it, but it's going to be a repeat of what we've just had. And the ball will be thrown back in, still about 35 around from goal. Bernie's doing the ruck work, and there's so Brown still doing the ruck work for West. They win possession of the ball. They bring it from defence. Only to the middle of the ground. Whitney a chance now. His kick was smothered. Good strong work there. So West now with an opportunity. Whitney's gone back after it again. Picked up Bangura. He brings it towards centre wing. White is leading in the race for the ball. But again, too much carry on it. And it will go back over the boundary line. Another throw in to take place.
They're the little things I'm talking about. And out in the full on the other side for Bell Post. So just to kick it out of bounds. Kick it to a teammate. Let us see some good footy.
So the ball in takes place. And again, front of the contest.
Ooh.
He's someone sitting over the top of the ball, but didn't have much prior opportunity to get rid of it then. The ball will come back to the umpire. Looks like Yates, actually it was Danielle getting up off the contest. Still Whitney picks the ball up again, goes back into their forward line. Mark was a good try there, out there. I think that was Mills. He's gone back and collected it, goes back towards the goal. Long kick, goes across the face. Forwards there, ball hits the ground. They look to run the ball out. West, they've got some numbers. They need to get the ball out of there pretty quickly.
Well, I think
must have been dangerous tackle, was it? Is that what they said?
I thought he just dropped the footy.
Well, it had to be dangerous tackles. The only logic I agree with Grubby. I thought it was dropping the pill.
But there was no danger in that tackle.
Oops.
So umpire
It's a danger
calls
in
play
the
on.
kick.
Ball's gone back over the boundary line. We're going to have a throw in to take place. So as we go to 13 minutes in this second quarter, it is Geelong West 3-3, Bell Post Hill 1-3.
The one umpire has the ball, waiting to throw it in.
You don't wait, you just throw it.
He's thrown in now. It's Bernie had the ball coming through. Is Danielle grabs it, kicks it across his shoulder, and his teammates look very happy with his work there. That's their second goal. They go to 2-3-15. Geelong West 3-3-21. We are 13 and a half minutes into the Buckley's Entertainment second quarter. Grubby, much needed goal.
Who kicked it?
Look, it was.
Danielle.
And again, that was the first time they actually had a chance to hold it in for only a short period of time. And then Danielle pounced on it and kicked the goal they really, really needed. But, you know, it all come about when you get the ball out here. You've got plenty of players up here and they kick it out of bounds, going for these little short kicks across the ground.
Cute.
This is GDFL footy. Just kick the bloody thing and kick it forward. And things will work for you.
So back in the middle of the ground, it's Brown and Warrington. West win it forward. Ball comes over the back of Mitchell. Runs away from him, and Bo McNamara very coolly grabs hold of the ball. Tapped very cleverly forward for Bell Post Hill there to Jones. He kicks down the line, punched away from Whitney in the forward pocket. Bernie tries to get it back into play, but it's too late over the boundary line. Just forward of centre wing, Bell Post Hill in attack, fresh from that goal. They're already obviously got their tails up a bit. West had dominated the first little part of the quarter.
I don't know what the scores are, but they are level at Inverleigh and Thompson.
Level at Inverleigh Thompson. Okay. Hand pass over the back of the pack. Whitney gets it for Bell Post Hill. The umpire's blown the whistle very loudly indeed, and it'll be a free kick held off the ball by West, and it'll be taken by Tom Burke. Burke kicks right across the goal, an element of danger with Will Ford hard down on the man, but over there West have the ball far back pocket. A neat little kick into the middle of the ground and finds Piers. Piers left foot pass looking for some space, but he's kicked it terribly straight to Bell Post Hill on the far side of the ground, and that's Hurd. Hurd kicks back into the middle of the ground. Ford comes out on a lead, takes a very strong mark under a lot of pressure. He's a little bit too far out to score, but he's going to go back and try anyway. He's got quite a long run up. He's got the Ben Browns about him at the moment. He's standing on the centre wing, lining up for a shot for goal. There'd be at least 30 metres between him and the man on the mark. So he's walking in now, gobbling up some. He's fancying himself here, Will Ford, competition's leading goal kicker at the moment. Gets underneath it. He's got a nice hold of that. It's going very long.
Missed
just to the right of the goal post. One behind only there. 4th of the afternoon. 2-4-16. Geelong West 3-3-21. 16 minutes have gone in the Buckley's Entertainment second quarter.
Anarchy 2-4-16. Belmont Lions 1-5-11.
So the ball's brought very quickly out towards centre wing. The ball will go over the boundary line, and we're going to have a throw-in to take place.
I didn't know I had that one. That one come through earlier, so I'm guessing that was the quarter time score.
Yep,
okay.
All right.
Still Whitney's got his hand up there. Surely he's not doing the ruck work. No, he's not. Bernie's there. So ball, ruckman go at it. Ball comes out of the contest. Dye's gone up the ground to meet the ball. Comes back towards Bashley. He was tackled. Ball comes out in the tackle. Goes to Bangura. He's tackled. Now the ball is definitely not coming out. And the umpire will come in once again. He's going to throw it up on true centre wing. Club room side of the ground here at West. Ball thrown up again. Both ruckmen go at it. Comes out. Whitney gets the ball. Handball comes out the back towards Bashley. Runs back towards the boundary line. He won't be able to keep it in, so we're going to have a ball in to take place.
The app is working, so I'll give you a quick update. Bannockburn 62, North Geelong 17, East Geelong 57, Corio 27, Geelong West, well, we got that one here. Inverleigh 22, Thompson 16, Anarchy 16, Belmont 44. And Werribee have an early lead at Winch.
There you go. So the ball now in the contest. Bashley's ball goes back towards centre wing. Free kick down the field as Bashley is hit after the got rid of the ball.
Sorry, but I disagree with that one too. I reckon he got him just as he kicked it.
No, he's going to bring the ball back now.
Well, that's different. That's different again.
So we're coming back now, the umpire says. So he's coming back to where it actually happened.
Fair enough then. Fair enough, because it wasn't down the ground. Fair enough.
So he chips the ball into the middle of the ground. Mark is taken there by Staggart. It's got Yates short, and that's the direction he goes in. They're using the ball Bell Post Hill style. They've got a player out the far side. Actually nearly hit the umpire there when he kicked that, but that's a great kick. The mark has been taken out there, and I think this time out there it's Grossman that's taking the ball. So Grossman now with the ball, I reckon just outside the arc, or kick from just outside the arc in their forward line.
They've gone to sleep a bit, West. All of a sudden, Bell Post Hill have got all the footy.
So he goes short. That's a nice looking kick, and Cozzy comes up and he takes the mark. So Costello with a great opportunity here to put Bell Post Hill back in front.
Tell me what I like about these two teenage umpires, Grubby. They're very confident with everything they do. They're really much in control of the situation. It's good to see.
Yeah, they have. If I had a criticism, I reckon they're possibly playing a couple of free kicks too many, but that's what they're being taught, so that's what they've got to do.
So Costello now steps in. Will kick towards goal. Didn't look that bad off the boot, and I think he likes it also. It's through for a goal. He has his first of the afternoon, and Bell Post Hill now have their third. They are 3-4. They lead West on 3-3, and we have gone just 19 minutes, second quarter, Buckley's Entertainment Centre, second quarter scoreboard.
Well, as I said, all the momentum's just about done a 360 from 180. They look like they were going to break the game open, West, and then they just look like they're gone to sleep, and Bell Post Hill have pounced on that because he has to kick that. Like, at his age, he's not going to get 15, 16 possessions, so the ones that he does get, he's got to make the most of it. But that's why he's so dangerous, because that's what he does. Well, he kicked 5 goals last week, or other time from about 8 kicks.
So Brown for West gets it out of the ruck, gets a second go at it. The umpire says he's had it for too long the second time, And it's going to be Jack Yates, the captain of Bellpost Hill, will take the free kick right inside the centre square. He's been called to play on. Kicks it along out to the half-back flank and coming out and taking a chest mark. Low down is Hurd for Bellpost Hill. Half-forward flank. Into attack again. He kicks it deep into the pocket. He's looking for forward. Can't quite get the mark. West pick up the crumb, kick it down the line. It's a good little pick-up on the run there by Hoare. He kicks down the line, and that's a mark out there on the centre wing. And I think it's Justin Carey. He runs around and kicks a low drop punt into the forward line. But coming through, can't hold the mark. There was Morton. He's tackled, dragged to the ground. Morton's on top of that lot. Umpire will come in and ball it up. Centre wing, Geelong West slightly in advantage. They're 1 point behind, and we're 20 minutes in to the Buckley's Entertainment second quarter. Ball's thrown up, hasn't got anywhere. Bellpost Hills, Warrington picks up the ball. Can't break clear of the pack. Coming out for West is INL. He kicks into the forward pocket. Bohm comes out and takes a very good mark, and he didn't even look like he was in the contest, but he's pulled in a strong mark in the forward pocket. He's had a little bit of an injury worry. That's why he's plonked in the square. And if he can kick this, it'll be a fairly good effort. Oh, he slipped just as he kicked it, plonked it in the square, but coming out and taking the ball is Blake Dye. He's taken a mark right on the corner of the centre square, the slender forward for Geelong West, and Bohm looks to be in serious trouble on the far side of the ground. He's gone. I'd say he's done a calf or something. So it's Blake Dye now. Second on the lead goal kick and comes in, gets close to the man on the mark, but kicks the goal, and West are back in front. They're 4-3-27. Bellpost Hill 3-4-22. 21 and a half minutes into the Buckley's Entertainment quarter, and Bohm looks crook, Grubby.
Yeah, I tell you what, it was a handy goal, but at what price is that going to come at? Look, I was a bit worried if he was injured that they left him on the ground. I know they need to win this, but I tell you what, they don't want him out for the next two games, which could be even harder. So I would have thought they got him off a little bit earlier, but now it looks like he's going to come off and may not come back on for the day by the looks of things.
I'd say he's cooked. If it's a calf, Dale, they don't recover, do they?
No, not before next week. It wouldn't. Depends on what he's done to it, actually. But
he's already got it bandaged by the looks of it.
Yeah, I reckon he's done his other one. I reckon it's his left one he's hurt this time. So
yeah, it looks like his left leg collapsed just as he made contact with the ball.
Anyway, we're back in the middle of the ground, and we said Geelong West back in front now. Gin's doing some ruck work for the Geelong West side. Picked up Staggart. He's been okay today. Got the ball further afield. And again, they run the ball down the ground, down the boundary line, again towards centre wing. Leading the race for the ball was Harmer. He was taken off the ball without possession, and he's going to win a free kick. So he's got the ball now, and he's going to put the ball back towards the half-forward line. That's a great kick in space. Costello's there by himself. He goes quickly into the forward line, goes towards forward. Trapped the ball nicely on the left foot. Has an option back in the middle of the ground. Kick probably not well directed. Again, West did nicely. They knocked the ball back towards the boundary line. Leading in the race for the ball. Going to be picked up, and was going to be picked up, but the Fantella runs the ball over the boundary line. They're going to have a throw-in to take place. Just inside their forward 50, I would think, from here.
Couple of interested spectators here today too. They can't keep you two buggers apart, can they? Two blokes chatting in the morning. Now he's here watching the footy in the Arvo on his 15th potato cake.
Another one in the recent 60 club.
Is he already 62?
Yeah, he was the first of the three of you.
Yeah, bloody old fellas, see?
Boundary throw in. I think the umpire, yes, he's had to guide the young fellow who's going to throw it back down the line. Bernie's at the front of the pack, but sharking the ball for West is Edwards. Kicks forward, can't take the mark. There is Mitchell running onto the ball. There is Staggart. He gets it across the body quickly to Dylan Whitney. Kicks forward. Costello comes out, can't quite take the mark. Bursting through the pack there for Bellpost Hill.
Kick them goals here.
Is Will Kerrin, but he's missed everything, and out of bounds on the full in the back pocket. Geelong West have the ball back. They lead by 5 points. We're just on 24 minutes into the Buckley's Entertainment second quarter. A long kick down the line by West over the back.
That's
Edwards.
A free kick up.
He went up too early, and the umpire has pinged it. Good decision. And again, the young umpires run in very confidently, got everyone under control, given the ball to Dylan Whitney. That beautiful raking left foot kick of Whitney's drops it just beside the goalpost.
I reckon he marked that.
And that is a mark to Bellpost Hill.
Will Ford.
Yeah.
And it is Will Ford.
He's played on.
Played on, kick across the body, and he has kicked his first for the afternoon. Blake Dye at the other end has 2. They're the competition's leading goal kickers. Puts Bellpost Hill back in front. 28-27, 24 and a half minutes into the second quarter, Grubby.
Well, as we said earlier, it's not a great game to watch, but if it stays close and you have a bit of interest in it, and it could end up being very exciting. So, a goal to West, and they come back the other way. Will Ford, was that his first, was it? So he needs to do more than that. But they haven't had the ball up there that often.
He's got 1-3.
Yeah, so 1-3. I think against Werribee, kicked 10 straight. Unbelievable.
So we're back in the middle again. Bernie doing the ruck work. Gin's also in there. Gin got over the top of him that time. Ball's going to try to be cleared out there by Burke. He got the handball away, put his teammate under pressure, but they've been able to tap it to their advantage. But coming through, Fantella's going to hold things up. He's tackled, and no prior opportunity there. Umpire to come in and take possession. Centre wing, clubroom side of the ground. Bernie and Gin doing the ruck work, as we said. This time Gin again gets a tap down. Again, ball comes out towards the middle of the ground. Bangera got his hand in there. Now there's a free kick being given. Umpire says there's a hold, and it's going to come back. Looks like it's coming back to Dill Whitney.
So no advantage?
Well, I don't know why it wasn't, but
Whitney and Bangera are having a bit of an afternoon, the pair of them. That's the third one they've had, and there's no love lost between that little conversation there.
I think they've lost a fair bit out of that. They had a good advantage going there. Don't blame the kids, because it wasn't one of them.
So Whitney now delivers the ball. Gee, that's a good 9-iron into their forward line. Not too much distance on that. That's probably the worst kick he's ever done in football. Ball comes out the back, runs towards Kerens, got the handball over the top. Actually was intercepted there, so West they've done pretty nicely. Podner Carroll, he gets the ball, goes back towards the centre wing. That's okay also. And again, they run the ball from defence. Chance to go back into attack. Dyer comes back and he takes the mark. So now he gets to his feet very quickly. Looks at his options up forward, goes across the ground. And again, a good kick. Marcus not taken out there by Wallace. Now has to work for it. It's time to steady. Goes straight towards the full forward position. McNamara comes across. That was interfered with there. I thought he could have got a free kick. He sits over the top of it. Morton's over the top of the ball now. And West are able to hold things up in their forward line.
It's like the mistakes. Like Dylan Whitney, he would never make that mistake. When he went to kick it, he was right on the man on the mark. So he has to kick it high.
So the ball now thrown up. This time it's going to be tapped down and picked up by Wallace once again. Has time to steady. Looks back towards goal, but won't bring it back anywhere near far enough. And through for another minor score. And they level things up now. 4 goals, 4 apiece. And we have gone 27 minutes, so wouldn't be much time, I wouldn't think, in this second quarter. I've got the same scores and put them in the same box. That's how good I'm going today. So,
our Two Blokes Chatting radio fellow has found that there's a second West player injured, a number 15 being Lima. Boots off, calf iced up. So that's 2 down.
Lima. So the ball picked up there by Yates, goes across the top towards his teammate, went to McNamara, now towards Danielle, player out wide, and they will go out there at this time. The ball is going to be kicked into their forward line by Jones, and he's went a little bit wide. It's actually going to stay inside the boundary. And again, yes, you're right, Grub, that's the last kick going to the forward line is hurting both sides at the present time.
They are. Like, Bellpost Hill are famous for going wide, but putting it on their chest, and they're just kicking it too far out of bounds. Both sides are, to be quite honest.
So forward line with an opportunity late in this second quarter. Ball is thrown in. Wasn't a great throw in. Picked up Warrington out of the contest. He went back towards goals, and it's going to be out of bounds in the full. Free kick is going to go to Geelong West. Umpire was going to collect the ball for him then, I thought. But
talking about umpires, like the boundary umpires, we've seen most games we've had 2. Obviously, with this COVID coming, I tell you what, it's going to be a long day for these kids running the boundary up and down by themselves each side.
Yeah. They bring the ball out of defence again. Numbers around the contest, that's a good strong mark. And Yates once again has taken the mark. I reckon it's outside his range, so he needs to look for his teammate in forward. Forward comes up, ball out the back again. West with some numbers. They bring the ball from defence. They look for their options further afield. Kicked out of there this time. I think it was Piers. That's a nice looking kick, and the mark has been taken out there. And again, that's a shocking looking kick, and that's gone out of bounds on the full. So football is not improving in their second quarter. I reckon that might have been Mitchell that actually kicked that ball then. So
Anarchy 2-5-17, Belmont Lions 7-8-50.
So Morton it is now, and he doesn't look like he's travelling too well. His leg was hobbling before. Kicks the ball short, that's okay. Flacavento comes up, takes the mark on centre wing. He now goes into the middle of the ground. Kick again had to be good. Wasn't because it's going to be turned over. Picked up now. They bring the ball back this time with Gin. Gin goes towards Dye. Dye naps it, does nicely. Knocks it towards White. But again, Morton's got his head over the contest. Comes out of towards Fantella. Back towards Fantella. Now it goes back towards Gin. He tried to kick the ball off the ground. Fantella will be happy enough to see it over the boundary line. And that's what he does. So it's not a clean game.
I tell you what. He's a good player, Dye, and he's a great mark, but no one's going to mark it when McNamara's coming from behind you. You don't let you mark it.
So Gin doing the ruck work again with Bernie. Bernie, the ball comes to the front of the contest. Yates picks the ball up. He is tackled, and it's not coming out. And we're going to have another ball up at the 30-minute mark. It is 4 goals, 4 apiece.
Gin and Bernie go up and punch the ball into each other's hands. Mitchell for Geelong West kicks it forward quickly, running onto the ball. Very strongly is White. He can't break through the pack, but the umpire has found a free kick. It's going to White. He copped one high as he came through. As the half-time siren goes, and Justin White will have a shot for goal after the siren. You kick from about 45 metres out on a 45-degree angle. Scores are tied up at this stage, and it will be... it'll give an advantage on a game that's just been really, really hard to look at. And Grubby will give you more detail as we start the third quarter.
He'll kick this. He'll kick this.
But Justin White needs to score to put his side in front at the half-time break. He gets close to the man on the mark, gets under it nicely enough, but it's going to fall short.
No, he won't.
The umpire has signalled it did cross the line, 1 behind only, so that will be the half-time lead to Geelong West, 4-5-29. Bellpost Hill 4-4-28. Goal kickers Dale.
Yeah, goal kickers to half time. Dye has 2, Ian Ellie and Edwards 1 each for Geelong West, and for Bellpost Hill we got 4 goal kickers. Yes, we have got Danielle, Costello, Whitney, and Will Ford also has 1. Take a short break. Come back with first half action. Listening to 94.7 The Pulse. Your home of local football. Leave that back door closed. Man's freezing. Third quarter action just about to start, and we are started. The ball is thrown up in the middle of the ground again, basically from the middle. He's been called for hauling the player in front of him, and it's going to be a free kick going to West. Quick play on there, and the ball goes past to Piers. Piers out quickly into their forward line, looking towards Diane Podner Carroll, but the ball again back over the boundary line, and we're going to have another throw-in to take place. So West with a couple of players down from the first half, we believe. And the player in front of us, Billy Higgins, doesn't look that flash either. It looks like he's struggling a little bit, so they may have it in front of them. The ball is cleared out of that contest by Whitney. Goes back towards centre wing, running with the fly of the ball. Yates never took his eye off the ball. Didn't complete the mark, but it was a fair bit of courage in that. Yeah, again, West now have a chance to deliver the ball further afield, but it's again picked up and kicked back into the middle of the ground. Mark is not taken out there. Again, picked up this time. Keren's got the ball away to Yates. Yates did nicely, gets the ball into their half-forward line, but again going back and Hutchison takes the mark. So Hutchison it is now. He's just trying to direct play, and he looks to deliver the ball back into the middle of the ground, goes over the top of his teammate, and it's going to go towards Yates. Yates is also there with Viney. Viney, they both work towards the ball, and now they're both held up. Umpire will come in and take possession of the ball. So it's going to be a throw-in in that forward position. And half forward, Bernie does the ruck work. Ball comes down in that contest. Cleared away. Goes towards Fantella. Now there's a free kick being given. It's going to go to Bellpost Hill, I think.
No, it's not. He's changed his mind and given it the other way.
Must have pointed the wrong way.
Keats, where are you? Get back here. Jeez.
So it's now kicked into the forward line. That's a good-looking kick, and the mark has been taken out there, and it's opportunity now for
Braden Mitchell, I think.
It looks like Mitchell.
Just while he's doing that, half-time Wincher 4 points in front of Werribee, 44-40. Yannicky 17, Belmont 50, Inverleigh 42, Thompson 36. That's a close game. 1 point here, 77-33, East over Corio and Bannockburn 86. North Geelong 17.
So Mitchell's kick is going to go across the face of goal, and I think too far, and it's gone across for a minor score. So it's now 4-6 to Geelong West, 4-4 Bellpost Hill, and we have gone just 2.5 minutes in this third quarter with Flacavento playing on, going out wide. Mark is not taken out there, and there's going to be a throw-in to take place.
And thanks, Wilkes, for a lovely spread.
Yes.
Very nice.
Made himself, he said, so he's done nicely, Wilkes.
Yeah, I'll bet he did.
He's saving a bit of money. He's not eating as much at home, so he's going to throw the ball back in. Yates takes the ball out of the contest, goes to Whitney, good quick hands, and he runs and carries, goes towards forward, comes out, present, takes the mark. He's got nothing further afield, so he decides just to go quickly into the forward line. Keren's going back with the flight. His opposition player in Edwards, I think it was, did nicely. It gets back, and we'll see the ball over the boundary line, so we'll have a throw-in to take place. Forward pocket for Bellpost Hill this time.
Couple of Bellpost legends in the lunch too. Shaq McPherson, Bats, Ange for Tony. Oh, celebrities everywhere.
So the ball now thrown back in by the umpire. Ball comes to the front of the contest. Picked up there. Warrington got the handball away. Again, this ball is going to go out of bounds. Oh, actually, it floated. It did. Floated back in, and now it's taken over the boundary line. It's going to be a throw-in in the forward pocket. Good call by the umpire.
The poor bugger didn't know where to look for it. It was definitely going out.
It was going out. Wind's got hold of it.
It's going out halfway up the bike track.
So umpire again to restart play. Low throw in. Ball is tapped back toward the boundary line. Picked up by Whitney. Did that nicely. Goes towards the centre forward position. Going back basically. Didn't take the mark. Ball now at ground level. He's over the top of it. Looks to give it to Harmer. Harmer actually comes out of the contest. There was Hurd. Got a kick away to go... Vasika, and he was tackled by Bangura, and now it is going to be another throw-up to take place. Still inside forward 50, so Bellpost still are pushing. Again, ball is tapped back. Again, cleared away this time by Hoare. He goes into the middle of the ground. Again, both players run over the top of the ball, but Harmer, he collected it. Now he decides to deliver long back in towards the forward line. Mark will be taken quite easily in front there by Edwards, and he will go back, give the handball away. So from defence they run. Turner goes out wide. Kick wasn't great. Been made good out there on the far side by Carey, who turns and kicks back around the boundary line, but that has a little bit too much on it. Mark is not taken. Ball goes over the boundary line. And some of the basic things we do in football aren't going well there this afternoon. So 5 minutes, third quarter.
I'll tell you what else doesn't go right.
4-6. Belpost Hill 4-4.
We're not AFL football, but when Dylan Whitney grabs the ball and they all run to his right foot, no, you've got to run to his left.
Ball comes through by Geelong West, trying to burst through the pack. The umpire said you had too long, son. He's been penalised, and that is Curtis Hoare. Belpost Hill go forward, and Nick Costello's marked. He's still inside the centre square. Another short kick forward, looking for Warrington. Finds him in front of Viney. Warrington reels around on the right foot, puts it down in front of Ford, but punched away from him by Edwards. Coming through is Podger Carroll. Neat little left foot kick across goal. Bounces into the arms of a teammate in Slater. He hand passes back to Hutchison. That is a terrible hand pass. Drops the ball. Hutchison slaps it forward. The umpire has blown the whistle, and that is going to be downfield against Fantella, and Geelong West will take the free kick. And it will be...
Samuel Edwards is limping too. He copped one in that pack in the leg, so...
It'll be Fraser for Geelong West. He kicks down to
free kick.
Bankura. He's had a push in the back, and he will take a free kick.
No, umpire's called
The umpire's called
well,
advantage, and the ball has gone down and out to come and take a chest mark. Blake Dye. He's about 20 metres out, perhaps 25, directly in front, lining up for his third for the afternoon. And this will be Geelong West fifth if he can kick it.
especially against the run of play. He needs to kick this. But look, I'm not having a go at him, but I just want a little bit of consistency. There was 3 or 4 that they brought back and said no advantage, and then they let one go. You've got to get a little bit more consistency so the players know what's going on.
So Blake Dye coming in from a very, very long run up indeed. Leading goal kick, second leading goal kicker in the competition, 2 already this afternoon. Hits the boot reasonably nicely, gets good elevation, but fading to the right. 1 point only. 4-7-31 Geelong West, Belpost Hill 4-4-28, and we're 7 minutes in to the De Grande Sport and Cycle third quarter.
As you say, fading to the right, but I watched him run in. He actually ran a little bit to the right, and it went the way he ran. I mean, what's wrong with running in and kicking, running in straight and kicking it straight?
So it is Fleccavento now from the goal square. He plays on, brings the club room side ball, front of the contest, comes out the back. It's going to end up there in the hands of the Belpost Hill player. Kicked round the boundary line. I'm not too sure who that was actually. It was actually Mills that got the ball. It's been turned over again. Vaseka. That wasn't a handball.
That's a good decision up.
And a free kick will go to, and it's going to be Burke. So Burke now looking at his options. He's going to go long and straight down the ground. Again going across. Belpost still with some numbers. McNamara's there. Morton's also there. He's tackled. Ball comes out. McNamara picks it up, but there's a free kick being given. And it's going to go to Geelong West. I'm not too sure what that was for, but must have been dropping the ball, I would think, possibly.
Blake Dye, is it?
Yes, but he's got the free kick. Morton stands the mark. So Dye comes in now. This is just a case of sitting on the right goal post here. Let the Wees do a little bit of work. I reckon that's where he's headed for. He
Straight as a die.
Got his there. Good call, Gub. He got his third of the afternoon. And Geelong West 5-7. They lead Belpost Hill 4-4. And we have gone almost 9 minutes. Third quarter, the Grandy Cycle and Sports third quarter scoreboard.
Well, he's another one that carries a transistor radio in his pocket. Because that time he ran dead straight, just like I told him to do the last one, and the ball went dead straight through the middle. And that's, look, this kid can play. I've got no doubt about that. He can play. I just don't know. Normally you'd put a Bo McNamara on him, but I'm just not sure Bo McNamara is as fully fit as he needs to be.
Back in the middle, Gin gets it up on the ground for Geelong West. They can't take clear possession. Mitchell tried to get through. He's kicked off the ground quickly. Belpost Hill, Kerins runs past the ball. Edwards gets a very good pick up and handball across to a teammate. A neat little pass down the ground. Viney can't hold the mark. He gets the hand pass back though. Viney kicks down the line looking for a leading forward. Ianelli runs over the ball. White runs over the ball also. Enid runs over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in. Geelong West in attack, half forward flank. They're leading by 9 points, and we are nearly 10 minutes into the De Grande Sport and Cycle third quarter here at the Western Oval. Boundary umpire prepares to throw it in. Gin, who's done a pretty good job since he's been put into the ruck. Gets it to Mitchell. He breaks the tackle, gets it onto his boot. Just a mongrel old punt kick goes forward. Bobbles over the back of the pack. Hecker can't pick up the ball for... comes across to Vasurka. He gets it to Whitney. Whitney's tackled. Hand passes quickly. Warrington kicks down the line looking for a teammate. Viney takes a very good mark under pressure for West. He's the captain of the side. That is a shocking kick. Absolute shocker. Harmer gets the ball for Bellpost Hill. Kicks down the line looking for Ford. But in front of him is Turner. He takes the mark. That is an awful kick as well. It's on the bounce to a teammate. He's now got 3 in 1. He's been tackled. He's not going anywhere. It's been ripped out of his hands by Baseley. He kicks forward to Ford, and Ford takes the mark for Bellpost Hill. He'll be 35 metres out when he kicks the ball directly in front. And a chance to get the Panthers back on track after a horrible, ugly start to this third quarter from both sides. It's very difficult to look at.
Yeah, it is a bit. I'm a bit disappointed, actually.
Will Ford is the leading goal kicker. He's kicked 1-3 so far this afternoon. Blake Dye at the other end has kicked 3-1. And Ford now, as I said, directly in front, 35 metres out. Vital goal for the Panthers. Leaves the boot nicely. Goal umpire doesn't move. Teammates very happy. Takes Bellpost Hill to 5-4-34. Geelong West 5-7-37, 11 and a half minutes into the Buckley's Entertainment third quarter. Sorry, De Grandy's third quarter.
And I'll tell you now, like it was ugly. There was terrible kicks going to opposition players, and in the end it took a veteran to place a nice kick in there in Cubby Baseley. A magnificent kick there to give Will Ford the chance. And just as a matter of inches, the first ball that came in gave him no chance and landed on Turner's chest, but the one that basically kicked in gave Turner no chance, and Will Ford took the opportunity and kicked a nice goal and put him back in it.
Well, that was 3 shocking bits of play by Geelong West. They've got a chance now. Gin smacks the ball forward, but West come on. Bellpost still come on the ball. The umpire says no chance for Baseley to get away. He was tackled immediately by Wallace, and there'll be another throw in, but just at the corner of the centre square, Gin and Warrington. Warrington this time gets it down in front of Whitney. He can't get the ball, can't get away. Quick kick across his body by Brown for Geelong West. Gets it forward, but no real system there. It's Ionelli who gets the ball very cleverly, kicks into the forward pocket, and running back to take a mark is Justin White. And he'll be kicking from 30 metres out, 45-degree angle, far side of the ground. And this is a very, very quick reply if he can get it. That's the first decent bit of play from West this quarter.
It was too. It was good football. And, look, I put the moz on him just before half-time, so I'm going to keep my big fat trap shut for a minute.
So Justin White rocks in. 45-degree angle. Goal umpire has moved across to the right.
Missed it.
Patted himself on the chest and will signal one behind only. 5-8-38 West. Bellpost Hill 5-4-34. 13 minutes into the Grandy Sport and Cycle third quarter. Flacavento grabs the ball for Bellpost Hill, looking for options. There's just a sea of faces in front of him. No one really making much movement. So Flacavento kicks it out into the back pocket. Dylan Whitney has got in front of his opponent there in Wallace and takes a mark. So Whitney is probably the best kick of the football on the ground, I reckon. Long left foot drop punt close to the boundary line. Players going up. That is a beautiful mark over the back of the pack by Wallace. Wallace gets it, kicks it long into the forward pocket looking for Dye. Punched away from him by Whitney in the end, and over the boundary line it goes. Forward pocket for West, only about 5 metres around from the behind post. They're in attack, leading by 4 points. 14 minutes into the third quarter. It is the De Grandy Sport and Cycle third quarter here at Geelong West. Ball's thrown in. No one touches the ball really. It hits the ground. Bellpost Hill player ridden into the ground. Umpire didn't see it that way. He's in fact paid him for holding the pill. And Geelong West will take a free kick. 45 degrees out. 45 degree angle, 20 metres out from goal. And it is Blake Dye who'll be lining up for his fourth for the afternoon. And I reckon they might have missed the first one there.
What is that?
Anyway, I don't know who it was that was penalised, but he seemed to be ridden quickly into the ground. Not much chance to get rid of the ball. So Blake Dye now coming in for West, aiming at their sixth for the afternoon. This will be his fourth, so a pretty good return from the young fella.
Look at that, runs straight
leaves the foot beautifully when it goes dead straight. His fourth, Geelong West 6 for the afternoon. They now lead by 10 points in the De Grande Sport and Cycle third quarter. Grubby, that was a bit odd to look, but we are 120 metres away.
Yeah, we are, and that's why you don't go too silly on it, but I just thought he grabbed it, everyone grabbed him. It didn't look to me like he dragged it in. He obviously had no prior, but let's forget about that. He got the free kick and then did what he didn't do the first time, but he did do the second time. Ran dead straight, kicked it dead straight, and he's starting to become a big thorn in their side down there. Who's on him down there, Dale?
Flacavento.
Yeah, well, I think it's time for a change.
So ball back in the middle of the ground. This time Gin doing the ruck work. Up over the top he goes. Ball goes towards Banguera. Tried a little palm off. Didn't work for Circa. Got his head over the contest. Tries to get his way through. Couldn't get through. Umpire will come in and take possession of the ball. Still within the centre square. And again, Gin doing the ruck work. Warrington gets the ball down. He goes back after and tries to collect it again. Picked up out there. Wallace got the handball over the top, only as far as Yates. He's tackled from behind. Ball comes out. Umpire said was incorrect disposal, so he wins the free kick. And it's going to go to the player in Hoare. So Hoare now decides to go quickly into their forward line. Dies out in front. Got a good jump at the ball. Couldn't take it, unfortunately. Picked up there by Flacavento. He is tackled, and without prior opportunity, umpire will come in and take possession of the ball.
Sometimes they say unrealistic opportunity, but he just leapt. He didn't interfere with anybody.
So the ball now, good tackle there. Flacavento has pinned Dye this time.
Well, pay the free kick like he did the last one then.
So umpire about to restart it, throws the ball up again. Warrington tries to take it out of the contest, did so nicely, got the handball away, put his team under a little bit of pressure. Harmer runs the ball out of defence, continues to keep the ball in front of himself, lost it, went back after it again. Now he's got support, ball on the ground, umpire in and will take possession between half forward, centre wing, far side of the ground. Again, umpire throws it up very quickly, ball comes out of the contest. West with some numbers out the back, but again it's going to be Harmer who tries to run the boundary line. No, it's not. It's going to be Jones. He couldn't take possession of it, and the ball will be thrown back in on true centre wing, the far side of the ground.
So Reece Gin, who's put some energy around the packs for Geelong once he's been in. He gets up high, but Warrington very cleverly eases him out. Can't win the tap out. The ball's grabbed by West and tackled straight away. We're going to have another ball up. We're on the centre wing, far side of the ground here at the Western Oval. Gin over the top again, has two cracks at it, punches it forward. The Circa's running on first for Bell Post Hill, does a very good job, but he's dispossessed just as he wheeled around onto his left foot to kick. Tackled immediately again, West player, and we have another ball up. Again, far side of the ground, just inside the boundary line. Warrington and Gin again. Warrington very cleverly again uses his body, keeps Gin out of the contest, gets the ball across to Danielle. He can't pick it up, over the boundary line it goes. We'll have a throw in this time. Geelong West 10 points in front. We're 18 minutes into the De Grande Sport and Cycle third quarter here at the Western Oval. Ball's thrown in again. Warrington does it on his own, grabs it out of the ruck, hand passes very quickly
got
up
one
the back.
high.
The umpire said,
yeah, well umpired.
He's been tackled high. Free kick. So it's Warrington, who's not a known ruckman, but is filling in that spot for Bell Post Hill and doing it okay. He gets it across to Hecker. Hecker kicks to centre wing looking for Costello, and he very cleverly gets his opponent out of the way, takes a good strong mark, wheels around on the right foot quickly into the pocket, punched away from Basely by young Edwards, but Geelong West will have a boundary throw in. Underneath the scoreboard showing 44 to 34, and we're 19 minutes into the third quarter.
That's the big problem. He's not filling in. He's actually their ruckman because they haven't got one.
That's right. Well, he's doing a good job in the absence of a proper one.
Yeah.
Punched away by Brown for Geelong West. It goes over the boundary line.
They've also got another player to come in too. The other Danielle, who's a really good player. He's coming. Chris Danielle's brother.
Yep, where's he from?
Oh, I don't know. I was just talking to Tony Dozen earlier today, but he's coming to play and he can play a bit too.
So the ball is thrown back in on the far side of the ground. It gets over the top of the contest, coming through. Harmer tries to get it out. Picked up by Morton. Went back towards the true centre half forward position. Podner Carroll comes out. He took the possession of the ball. Left it behind though.
Ooh.
Again, there's a free kick.
Giving
Now the
away a
umpire
free
says advantage. Will it be paid?
Where's the
No.
advantage? See?
No.
See?
Call back.
That-
Call back this time as Jones was heading towards goal.
I think you've either got to pay advantage or not pay advantage, but they're humming and hawing 50-50.
So Bernie now decides to go long into the forward line. Forward up.
Good
and
mark.
Strong hands, and he comes out and takes the mark. And will go back and kick towards goal. So a chance for Will Ford to get his third of the afternoon. Going to kick from about 35 distance, won't be any problem. And again, I reckon the right hand post grab, isn't it? Just let the breeze.
Just a little bit,
Yep.
yeah.
So comes in. Kicks on the ball. Didn't leave the boot too well, but
come
he's
back
going to
the
be
other
effective.
way.
Yes, it did actually. And it is through for a goal. So Will Ford now is his third. And the sixth for Belpost Hill. 4 points the difference. Belpost Hill are 6-4. West lead it on 6-8. And we've gone just on 21 minutes to Grandy Cycling Sports third quarter scoreboard.
Well, it's a funny old kick. Actually, I refer what you said before about Dylan Whitney being the best kick on the ground. Well, normally it's probably equal. Will Ford's a beautiful kick of the footy, but he didn't kick that one too well. But it doesn't matter. When it goes through those big sticks, it doesn't matter how ordinary it looks. And it's another goal that they really, really needed. Thank God it's close.
Oh, it is. Good point. Bernie and Brown. Brown thumps it forward for West. Coming onto the ball there is Harmer for Belpost Hill. Runs a full length, gets it to Vasurka. He clearly picked up by Geelong West there. It's Mitchell. Quickly kicks it forward. He's been tackled. The umpire has blown the whistle and said he was held far too long after he got rid of the ball. Is it?
Yeah, Nelly.
That's Ionelli who's got the ball. Half forward flank. The man on the mark's probably about on the 50-metre arc or a bit out. Ionelli looking for some options. He comes in now. He's going to drop it at the top of the square. Gets underneath it, but hooks it to the right horribly, and it's gone out of bounds on the full. In the forward pocket for Geelong West. 4 points. They lead by at the 22-minute mark of the Grandy Sport and Cycle third quarter of Geelong West. Flacavento has the ball in the back pocket. He's standing Blake Dye at the moment, who's kicked 4 goals for Geelong West this afternoon, the most effective forward on the ground. But Will Ford has 3 at the other end for Belpost Hill. Flacavento kicks into a big pack. Bernie gets up high, can't tug the mark. Kerrins runs onto the ball for Belpost Hill. Kicks it down, looking for Ford. He comes out, picks the ball up on the bounce. Neat little hand pass in the path of Yates. Yates kicks it forward, finds Danielle. Players going back now. Ford's the man they need, but he's
He's not running back hard enough.
And the ball's kicked into centre half forward, and Nick Costello holds his ground and takes a very good mark, certainly within kicking distance for him. And in the space of a blink, Belpost Hill for a chance to take the lead. There's a man who has kicked goals like this many, many times in his wonderful career, Nick Costello. This will be his first for the afternoon. He kicked from about 45 metres. No, he's found a lead, and it is Danielle who runs down, and he's taken a mark.
Is that
he's probably got him 5 metres extra.
Well, I don't know how good
on
a kick.
A tighter angle.
Yeah, I don't know how good a kick Danielle is. We're going to find out right now, but I would have thought Cosy would have kicked that from there.
Yeah, this is probably the attacking side of the ground, I would think, if there is one with the breeze, but there doesn't seem to be a lot out there. But
well, how do you know? The ball come over here before and the wind took it back into play, and the last goal I brought it back the other way. So if we can't work it out, it'd be hard to work out. But Cosy, I think Cosy would have kicked it from where he was.
Chris Danielle, he'll kick from about 40 metres out as it leaves the boot. It's gone off quite nicely. Everyone looks very happy in Panthers jumpers. And they've hit the front. 7-4-46. Geelong West 6-8-44. And we've gone 24 minutes into the Grandy Sport and Cycle third quarter.
They've just had a bit of a bolster, haven't they, the old Panthers? They were sort of running around not really promising much, and then all of a sudden, bang, bang, bang. And what worries me is when they do that, West don't seem to give a yelp too much. They seem to just go back in their shell. And when a side starts getting on top of you, you can't just let it go on. You've got to get in there and do something. Obviously, they've got some experienced players. Get in there and do something and try and win the momentum back your own way, which they may do now.
So we're back in the middle of the ground. It's going to be Bernie, and he gets the tap down, only as far as Danielle again. And again, Whitney handballs up over the top, missed Staggard. He'll go back, or he actually went and tried to collect it. Didn't do so, so a bit of pressure on. Morton's there. Staggard picks up again, goes over his head. That's nice work from Jones. Got in out of trouble. Outside to Danielle, leads in the race from the ball. Podner Carroll's there. He goes back and he picks the ball up. Handballs up over the top. That was okay. And again, there's a lot of players leaving the ball behind out there, so it must be a fair bit of pressure. Ball back into their forward line. Work from Morton. Goes back after it pretty hard, and that's what he's done all his football career. Goes after it hard. And it's West through some numbers now. They get the ball out. This time it was Fraser goes into the forward line. Flacavento this time playing in front, and he takes the mark. So Flacavento now decides to come clubroom side, put a little bit of pressure on himself. That was okay. It worked out okay because Hecker's going back with the flight, and he takes the mark. He'd be the bloke that I reckon probably should go into by grub, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I would have
thought so. A little bit more height, but then Flacavento hasn't done a bad job, but he's won a couple of free kicks, the other bloke, and he's got a few marks out there. This time it's picked up Mills. He's tackled, brought to ground. Did he have prior opportunity? Umpire said no, he didn't.
Good umpire.
And there's going to be a ball in or a ball up to take place.
There's another Giants player down.
No, it's Vaserka.
Oh, is it? Oh, it is too.
Yeah.
Belpost Hill, yeah.
Trainers are fastly getting out there.
Fastly. I've never heard of that word.
Yeah.
I hate to play Scrabble with you.
It's a bit better than slowly.
You cheat.
Yes, slightly quicker than slowly.
Yeah, fastly.
Although in this case, I'm not quite sure.
Although he's right. He's going to come off through the interchange, so he's going to come back through. He's all right. Again, Bernie doing the ruck work. Gin's also there. Gin gets over the top again, goes to Whitney, got handball away, but that's back over the boundary line. Umpire said we're going to have a throw-in to take place.
I remember you saying halfway through the third quarter and the second, Scrubby, that, geez, this is hard footy to look at. Well, it hasn't improved, and we're 3.5 quarters into the first.
Yeah, you're right. It's not one of those great games, but let's hope it stays tight and exciting.
Yep, the ball's out the back this time, goes to Bernie. Bernie went back and got the own ball out of the contest, picked up by Harmer. He delivers the ball back towards centre wing. That's a nice read of the fly of the ball, and Hutchison comes up with it. He goes back towards centre forward player by himself.
That's
in
a good
space.
kick.
And I think it's Ian Nelly, so the Bell Park connection working well together there. Go out wide, goes towards Dye's out in front. Good strong hands. Thought he paid it. Yes, I think that was pretty good grab there, so he can go back and put West back in front. Now, one question, Grub. Do you think with West having two players now off the field, will that hurt them later in the game? Or
Yeah,
not?
it should, but it's so tight and not a lot of great passages of play. They might get away with it. I think someone's going to get a yellow card here.
Dylan Whitney.
No, not another one. I hope he's not another report.
He went in and got involved in a bit of a fracas. Dye responded, but the umpire must have seen what happened.
Well, you would think he'd have to pay a 50-metre penalty.
Well, he's going to. He has to. So is that... He's obviously reported him.
Yeah. Geez, that's his first game back from suspension. Haven't been reported in 500 games and twice in 2 games. And it is a 50. He's taken him to the line.
Indeed it is. So, number 5 for Blake Dye. And West are back in front.
Now, why would he kick it that far? Hope that isn't in my car. I'll go and see him Blake later.
So we're Bellpost Hill 7-4-46, but West have just gone in front of them again, 7-8-50, and that is 28 minutes into the Grandy Sport and Cycle third quarter, and we've had a few little delays, so it might be a slightly longer quarter, this one.
Well, it might too, but look, it just shows you what good disposal's all about. I think it was it Hutchinson from down here?
Yep.
Hutchinson, good kick. Ian Alley, good kick, and put it out in front of Dye, which might give him all the opportunity against the smaller fella.
Back in the centre of the ground, Gin gets the tap out. He gets the tap out again, follows on the ball. He's tackled.
Let's hold the ball.
The umpire says you've had it too long, son.
Cats 65-39.
Go Cats.
Who are they playing?
Port Adelaide down here.
So they should be.
Back in the middle of the ground. Looks like
Staggard.
Staggard's got the ball. He kicks out very close to the boundary line, slapped away by Slater. And there's a name we haven't called all afternoon. Who's that gentleman? That's Grossman. I haven't needed to call his name. It was punched away from him. He'll have a boundary throw in.
Well, the commentary will be unbiased on K-Rock too. They only get really biased when they're losing. They get really snorty.
Burton has won possession of the ball, but the field umpire deemed that the boundary umpire's throw-in was not favourable to both sides, so we're going to have a second one. So it's Bernie and Gin. The young fellow who's done a pretty good job, but Bernie muscles him out of the way, gets to Danielle, he runs over the ball. Hand pass to Ionelli, he's deemed to have had the ball too long, and coming up to take the free kick for Bellpost Hill is Fantella. Fantella hand passes over to Harmer. Harmer back to Fantella. Fantella back to Harmer. He's just tackled it. He kicks the ball, looking for young Jones. The umpire said that was all right. He had the hands in the back.
He did take a hand on the back, yeah.
But taking the mark is Piers for Geelong West. He kicks into the middle of the ground, and Costello arrives late. But taking the mark is Burke. Burke into the middle of the ground to Justin Carey. The ball siren for three-quarter time goes as Hutchison had won the ball all by himself on centre wing and was about to run forward. But three-quarter time, West 50, Bellpost Hill 46. They've advanced by 3 points from their half-time 1 point lead. Goal kickers Dale.
Yes, for the home side, Dye has 5, 1 each to Ionelli and Edwards, and for Bellpost Hill, 3 to Ford, 2 to Danielle, 1 each to Costello and Whitney.
Just before you go, Anarchy 4-8-32, Belmont Lions 11-12-78. And a big upset here, 55-84. Thompson's Way at three-quarter time.
Funny game, football.
Whoa, is that going to throw a cat amongst the pigeons?
Righto, we'll take a short break, come back. You're listening to 94.7 The Pulse, your home of local football.
Giving us trouble. See, they drew him 1 year when you won the flag. He goes, oh, did they? I said, yeah. Well, I didn't tell him that was lightning round. They called the game off at half time, didn't they?
Oh, was it?
We're back here at the Western Oval. Geelong West 7-8-50, Bellpost Hill 7-4 46. We go into the Morris Finance last quarter. I've got no idea who's going to win this game because it's just been a topsy-turvy roller coaster. Grubby's going through trying to find some best players, and that's going to be awfully difficult to do in this game. But we've got at each end of the ground.
Can we hold it over?
Blake Dyer's kicked 5 goals of the 7 that Geelong West have kicked. He's second on the league goal kicking, and the leader of the league goal kicking is Will Ford, and at the other end he's kicked 3 of Bell Post Hill 7. So they've been quite effective forwards, but the rest of it, it's just been a very ugly, dour struggle. And Geelong West are going to be coming home. If there's any breeze, they'll have a very slight one kicking to the city end, but it's just a slugfest, Grubby.
Yeah, I'm not sure there is a breeze out there that favours anybody at all. All you got to do is get the ball and dispose of it properly, and you'll win this game of football. Whichever side does that, which is usually Bell Post Hill, but they've been uncharacteristically inaccurate, in their field kicking, which is not a trait. As I say, they do have players out that normally do that. Dylan Whitney's still got probably 10 minutes to go, has he? To come back on the field, so they'll really need him to come back. And as we've said, Geelong West have lost a couple of pretty good players. That Bohm, I think, was going to dominate the ruck, and now Bell Post Hill are winning the ruck with a couple of makeshift ruckmen. So, look, anything can happen. 4 points in it. I'm not going to try and pick a winner. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to try and pick best players here because it's just too... Well, players have got the ball. Marty Ianelli early was... Oh, not Marty. What's
the Ragu State may go to us, Grub.
Yeah, well, it might too. Yeah, although
be off to the Ragu.
Unfortunately, the voucher's for $25.
Not far to go. We might be able to do a deal. We'll use next week's voucher as well then.
Well, we might have. Hey, if you're going, we'll need the rest of the years. You need 400 there.
Oh, dear.
Good food, though. Don't worry about the Yards Hotel.
We're back in the middle. Look, we spoke to Steve Keating before the game, and he mentioned that there was a 15 and a 16-year-old umpiring today's game. And I'll tell you what, Grubby, they've acquitted themselves well. They haven't got everything right, but, geez, they've done a lot right for a couple of kids, and they've looked confident.
Yeah, I just like I want to comment on the style. Yeah, they've done a pretty good job, but I just think they're playing a couple too many free kicks. Let it go a little bit, but that's the way they're coached.
Yeah.
So if that's the way they're coached, they're doing it right, and just sack Steve Keating, probably.
Ball back in the middle of the ground, and it's Bernie over the top, but he gets a hand on it. Again, they need to win possession of it. They'll do that through Yates on the right boot, goes round the corner, Fantella, and he takes the mark. So great chance here for him to go quickly into the forward line, sets up forward, going across, mark not taken, picked up by Mills, goes back towards goal. It's coming back, but not quite enough, and through for a minor score. So Bell Post Hill to 7-5. And only 3 points the margin now, so they play on quickly from the full-back position. Marcus taken out there. Viney comes around the boundary line, goes toward Podner Carroll. Can't take the mark. Good work there from Morton. Just taps the ball over the boundary line. And we're going to have a throw-in to take place, true centre wing.
He's found out that seniors is a little bit harder than the reserves, Podner Carroll. It's a lot quicker.
He has, yeah.
He's played a few, I reckon, in the last couple of years, though.
Yeah, probably. There
must
have been something stopping him, though.
Yeah, I don't think he was quite happy just playing seconds footy, I think.
New dad, too, I think.
Yep, so the ball now is on the centre wing again. West with some numbers around the contest, picked up by White. He goes into the forward line, coming across is McNamara, and he takes the mark. So he's now got a player in the middle. Harmer didn't go to him initially. Got a player short and Danielle. Umpire now asking him to play on, so he's going to go back along the boundary line, back towards Yates and Bernie. Podner Carroll up over the top, and he just couldn't quite hang on to it. The ball goes over the boundary line, so we're going to have a throw-in to take place once again. Similar position to the last. As I said, Billy Higgins still walking up and down the boundary line. Not too sure that he's travelling all that well either. But they might need him in this last quarter. As I said, we've got 2 down already. Ball at the back of the contest. Mitchell was taken high. Free kick's going to be given.
Now, that's when I don't mind the trailing umpire paying a decision. The kid didn't see it. I saw it, and so did he.
So he goes quickly into the middle of the ground, and Gin, he takes the mark. So Gin's got a player running past.
Decision,
yeah, goes towards Piers. Piers now lines up. He goes long into the forward line. McNamara best situated by that ball, and he doesn't let the Bell Post Hill defence down. Takes the mark and plays on. Goes out wide. Kick's got enough on it. Mark is taken out there. Basically started the game pretty well. His third quarter was quiet. He's got another player over the top. Good use of the ball. Bell Post Hill now through Fantella. He looks up and goes into the forward line. Looks towards forward. Good work from the defence. Picked up by Mills on the left boot. They got 2 players out the back. Actually, I thought it was 2 players. It was one of the...
Must have been touch play on.
Yeah, the umpire's call play on, and now he's being pinged. Big play on. He goes to forward. Forward kicks the goal. Umpire says all clear. So Will Ford now has his fourth. Risky bit of play there from Belpost Hill, but it's paid off. They move to 8-5. Geelong West on 7-8, and we have gone 3 minutes. Final quarter, Morris Finance, final quarter scoreboard.
Well, it was a bit of a risk, but I think that's what I'm asking for here. Both of these sides take a few risks and open the game up. You either win or lose from there and take it up and make the best team win. It's been scrappy, it's been scrambly, it's been in tight. Go for broke. I think Belpost Hill have actually started to do that a little bit. West doesn't. We get a better game and made the best team win, because open it up a little bit, boys.
Back in the middle now, Bernie and Gin. Bernie gets a double hand to it this time, but Podger Carroll runs onto it for Geelong West, runs over it.
Runs around it
time.
too.
I don't think
it's come out to Belpost Hill. Harmer's grabbed and dragged down. The umpire said he didn't have the ball, and he will take a free kick for Belpost Hill. They've got their noses back in front, 3 points up early in this last quarter. It's an ugly-looking kick into the forward pocket deep.
There's a free kick here to Belpost.
Has paid the free kick, and it will be to Will Ford.
And 50!
A little bit of a dissent.
That might have been dissent, I think.
And again, the umpire was in quick. He was strong. He was confident and made the decision and let them know very quickly. And you can't ask for much more than that. And this will really open up an opportunity. Ford coming in to equal Blake Dye's fifth goal for the afternoon. Belpost Hill now out to a 9-point lead. 4 minutes into the Morris Finance last quarter. A funny game, football, Grubby.
Well, I'll tell you how funny it is. And I must admit, they did get it out the ball out. Well, I couldn't see the free kick, it was too far. I didn't have the binoculars up. But I'll tell you how funny it is. We ain't giving votes today. In the end, whoever wins and whoever kicks the most goals out of Dye and Ford are going to get the Wagyu steak. I can promise you that. I can promise you.
That might be a sensible way to do it, because at this stage I would have no chance of finding.
Well, one's kicked 5 out of 9 and the other bloke's kicked 5 out of 7. So they've both done their job. They're the only two left in the race.
Righto, back in the middle of the ground now. Young Gin, there's not much of him, but he's been leaping all over these blokes and getting most hit outs.
So does that mean the other side the other bloke gets 2 votes, does he?
Yes, yes, and you can raffle the third.
So it's Gin up, but Bernie gets it this time to Yates. Yates has tackled. He's trying to hand pass it out, or letting the umpire know he's trying to hand pass it out. The umpire said, "No, you're not trying hard enough."
No, you can't do that. That's what they do. They do that, and he had no prior opportunity.
And the ball's kicked wide, and I don't know why he's done that. He's kicked it out towards his captain, Viney. Viney, he gets across to Bangura. He stepped over the boundary line, I reckon, but it's back to Viney. He tries to break a tackle, can't. Hand passes under great pressure, and that's stiff, because I reckon that's out in the full.
It is out in the full.
Unfortunately, I think it's Staggard who did that. And Geelong West. That was Staggard who kicked the ball.
I would have thought it was him. I thought it was a Geelong West player that kicked it.
No, I thought it was a Belpost Hill player.
Yeah, Staggard was the one who kicked it. And I reckon he knows it too.
He's got no idea. The kid's got no idea. So why would you ask him? He's already...
Yeah. Throw it in. Good decision.
Yeah, good decision, Hump. Well done.
That is a very sensible decision.
I actually thought it was the Geelong West player when I first looked at it.
I'll have a look at it on the video, but I was sure it was Belpost Hill.
You could be right. He's got to come back down here, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, it was Belpost Hill.
That'll do, mate. Right where you're at. That'll do. That's close enough. Good boy.
But the senior field umpire, just move in, make a decision. Doesn't matter if it's right or wrong.
Yep.
Well done.
Players aren't worried about it.
Thrown in. Bernie gets it, but it's intercepted by Mitchell. Mitchell runs down Ironelli, runs on it, can't break through the tackle. He's had no prior opportunity, and the umpire agrees, and there'll be a ball up right on the 50-metre arc. Geelong West in attack. They are 9 points down, and we're 6.5 minutes into the Morris Finance last quarter. Bernie again he's done a very good job this quarter. Grossman hand passes over the back. It releases Yates. Yates gets the ball running his way, can't control it yet. He's still bobbling on front. Gets it now, but he's tackled. Intercepted by Piers. Piers gets it across to Gin. Gin inside to Wallace. Wallace outside to a teammate there is Carey, is it? He back to Ironelli. He kicks forward. Punched away by Morton. A very good job. Coming through for West there is Hall.
That's
he
down the ground.
Forward. Ball's bobbled in the middle of the ground. Harmer's going to get there first. Kicks it off the ground. Going down towards Costello. He can't control the ball. Justin Carey's almost there first. It is Baseley who's back on the ground. Gets it out into the path of Warrington. Warrington down to Ford.
Oh,
Ford
he's got
grabs
someone
the ball,
there too.
Falls over. He's tackled immediately. Trying to let the umpire know he hasn't got it, but it's between his knees.
Well, you know what? I think that one was holding the ball, and it's gone the other way. But the other umpire here missed the bump after the kick. Was definitely late.
So we've got a throw up. It's Gin. Gets up very high. Slaps it forward for Geelong West. Coming over the back of the pack now, it's Yates. He kicks across his body. He kicks it long and high into the square. The ball
I think it's a goal.
Through. Will Ford did a very good job to shepherd that. It's bounced through, and that's another goal to Belpost Hill. They're 10th. They're now 10-5, 65 Geelong West. This is the biggest lead of the day by far, 7-8-50. And we're 8 minutes into the Morris Finance last quarter. Goodness gracious me.
Yeah, look, I was just thinking when they brought the ball forward, West, I thought, geez, you've really got to get the next goal here. And when it goes the other way in a low-scoring game, they've got some work to do now. Don't get me wrong, a couple of quick goals and they're back in it. But just the way the Belpost Hill have lifted their game, it's not going to happen unless they lift theirs as well.
So we're back in the middle of the ground, as we said. Bernie this time gets a ruck contest. Ball's tapped further afield. Running the Belpost Hill way, coming out. I'm not too sure that player was, but it might have been Warrington. It was again. Goes into the hands there. Jones kicks into the forward line, and it's a good pair of hands down there, and the mark has been taken in defence. So West now with an opportunity to transfer play.
Oh, my.
Well, I don't know why he went that way.
And neither do I, because he's kicked it straight to Costello, who will go back, and I think with this goal, I think that's just about time for Big Dick. Big Dick will be singing shortly.
I know league footballers do it, but he got the ball and switched straight away. He took 3 steps and must have thought, there's no one there. You don't switch it if there's nobody there.
And he didn't seem to drive the kick that long either, did he?
No, I think he was in awe of what was going on.
Anyway, Costello has one, and I would pretty much say this should be straight through the middle for 2, and he is not going to let it down. He's got his second this afternoon, Nick Costello, and the 11th goal for Belpost Hill. They're 11-5. Geelong West are stuck on 7 goals, 8. We've gone almost 10 minutes, final quarter. Morris Finance, final quarter scoreboard.
Well, I'll answer your question now. Those 2 blokes that have gone down from West, do you think it'll affect the game?
Yep.
Yes, I think it does. They're really starting to look like they're running on. They're not running on top of the ground anymore. They're running just up and down on the spot, some of them. And obviously, when you get a couple of blokes that go out, your rotations are not as much, and you don't get the rest. And I'm not making an excuse for them, but I'm just answering your question. I think it has hurt them, but by gee, Belpost Hill have lifted, and unfortunately, West haven't been able to.
Back in the middle now, Gin and Bernie. And Bernie is the one who hits it to himself. Quick kick out of the centre. Running forward for Belpost Hill. Coming out is Kerrins. He can't win the ball. Over the back of the pack, Piers takes a handball. Runs around the wing. Takes a bounce. Takes a second bounce. He's got a fair bit of space in front of him. A neat little kick in and finding Blake Guy, who's on the lead. He runs around on the right foot, kicks long into the square. It's going over the back of the pack, but out of bounds, and out of bounds on the full. In the forward pocket, and Bo McNamara will take the relieving free kick.
Oh, I've still got to ask the question why you wouldn't go back and have a set shot at goal. He was not that far out, was he?
Well, he's inside 50.
Inside 50.
So McNamara kicks a long, high drop punt down the line. Coming out trying to take a mark is Bernie. Can't hold on. Umpire's blown a whistle. And Geelong West will receive a free kick for a high tackle.
No, holding the man, he called.
Gin it is, and Gin's neat little pass into the pocket, and Braden Mitchell comes out and takes a mark underneath the scoreboard, showing his team 21 points in arrears, 11 minutes into the last quarter.
Well, at his best, Mitchell can do anything. He can kick this with his eyes closed, but he hasn't quite been at his best today. Let's see if he can show a glimpse of the way he can play and put this right through the centre.
To say this was much needed would be an understatement. So Mitchell, tight in the forward pocket, gives himself a little bit of room, kicks, and his teammates are very happy, and that is a vital kick. They're 8 for the afternoon, 8-8-56. Belpost Hill 11-5-71, 12 minutes into the Morris Finance last quarter.
Well, you may have sung a little bit too early, if that was what you call singing, but you may have done it a bit early. I was here at Bannockburn and West at the start of the year, and they were gone for all money, West, and they came back. So I can tell you now, all of you listeners, don't turn it off yet, because they don't give in, this mob. They do not give in.
So we're back in the middle of the ground, and it's going to be Brown doing the ruck work, and this time Warrington goes in, ball comes down. Again, Warrington went after his own ball, couldn't win possession of it, held things up nicely, so we get another chance to compete. Vianelli, the last man off the ground there. Ball is thrown up, Warrington ball out the back, goes towards Harmer. He picks the ball up, got the handball away, went out towards Baseley, didn't take it cleanly, actually was turned over, went back into the forward line. Staggart did nicely there, got hand on the ball, picked up there. Mitchell goes outside to Bangira. Bangira goes back towards the full forward position, out in front, and the mark has been taken by Dye.
Yeah, go back and have the set shot, son.
So Dye now with an opportunity just to close things up again, bring the margin back to 9 points if he kicks truly.
This ain't over. There's still a chance to win this, West.
They seem to have found something that they didn't have in the first 10 minutes grub anyway.
No, that's exactly right. And as I say, they did it that night against Bannockburn. They never gave in, and they're going to give it everything they got from here on in.
So Dye has 5, as we said, can make this 6 if he kicks straight. Distance not an issue here, kicking from about 25, if that. Looks at goal, and it's going to hold its line nicely. He has 6 for the afternoon, and now the 9th for Geelong West. They are 9-8, Bell Post still 11-5. We've gone 13.5. Morris Finance, final quarter scoreboard.
Well, my worry is he's kicked a lot of his goals from good, strong, high marks. I think you take the risk and put Bo McNamara back on him, because you don't take marks against Bo McNamara, and against Flacavento he's got a bit of a height difference. He's got a good spring, but McNamara gets you in a position where you can't leap because of his experience. I'd nearly do that, although Mitchell's dangerous as well.
You're in the middle again. Bernie, who's had a tremendous last quarter for Bell Post Hill. He's won the tap out again to Yates. He can't get clear. Ball bobbles out of the INL. He's got it. Quick kick. Goes out and favours a teammate with a horrible bounce. Coming on there is Hutchison. He kicks into the middle and finds Wallace. So the West are coming again. The big sound is coming. And it's Dye who leaps onto this. Punches it away from his teammate, from opponent from behind. The umpire's blowing the whistle. There's a push in the back, and it will be Blake Dye who'll take it. He was pushed at that level there. He's quick kick into the forward line, and Bankura has found his place on his own, and he's topped the mark and would have got a free kick anyway for front contact. So the chance to kick their third in the space of about 3 minutes. Geelong West are coming hard. They're 62, 9 points behind Bell Post Hill. Bankura kicks back into the middle of the ground, and Blake Dye has taken the mark, standing on his own at centre half forward. And I think the Bell Post Hill coach mightn't be too happy about that, Grubby.
Look, as soon as he took the mark, what's his name, Bungara? As soon as he took it, I thought, I don't think he can kick this. But obviously the Bell Post Hill defenders didn't think it either. They left 2 blokes there. Not only one bloke, but the other bloke who's already kicked 6 for the day.
So Blake Dye will kick from about 42 metres. He's very close to the man on the mark. It's left the boot reasonably well, very well indeed, right through the middle. His 7th for the afternoon, and his team are now back within 3 points when they look dead and buried. We're only 15.5 minutes into this Morris Finance last quarter, and I think Grubby's called it right again.
Oh, look, only because I've had the advantage of seeing them play that first game. You know, they were 2 goals down against the wind. Bannockburn kicked 5 straight points, and you thought, it's how far? And they came back and somehow managed a couple of goals to win by 3 points. So I knew that they wouldn't let it go. But Bell Post Hill, after they got that break, they might have just relaxed a bit and thought, we're home here.
Look in the goal square, Grubby.
Bo McNamara on him. Well, I hope it works, because if it works, it makes me look like a genius. But he's kicked 7 already. Look, I honestly think I would have probably done it a little bit earlier. But who knows? He might take a few over Bowie, although it's a very hard thing to do. He's one of the best defenders.
It's whether he'll get him on the lead, because he's quite quick on the lead as well.
If he gets on the lead, Bo McNamara can't go with him.
But the way his teammates are kicking, there's probably not much chance of him hitting him up.
You've got to drop in the hole if that happens.
So back in the middle of the game, this time it's Brown gets the ball out, and again they try to win possession through the middle of the ground. Geelong West, they've done it pretty okay at the moment. Fraser got the ball out, but again Bell Post Hill win possession, go back into their forward.
Great mark. Jeez, that's a good
the
mark.
mark has been taken out there. Yeah, I'm not too sure who that was. Was it Viney, was it? So he now plays on, brings the club room side, goes looking towards centre wing. Mark is taken out there this time by Wallace. So Wallace now chips the ball around the boundary line.
No!
I don't know where he's going, but he's gone a little bit too wide, went looking for Mitchell, and now in the hands of Flacavento. So
well, he's marked everything. He's marked everything today, Wallace, but his just disposal hasn't quite been there.
So Flacavento now goes along the boundary line, short chip up towards Yates.
Yes,
that was okay. He makes it good. He's been okay, Yates, today.
Oh, good. Very good.
Yep, worked very hard. Still haven't seen Dill Whitney come back on. Is he gone for the day, or is he allowed back on the ground?
No, he's coming now. He's running to the interchange line right as we speak.
It was a good kick there, and Warrington takes the mark. He goes quickly into the forward line, goes looking towards forward. Costello got a hand in there. Ball runs free again towards their goals. what happens from here, I'm not too sure. It's a bit far away. Picked up, kicked the ground, and I'm not too sure.
No idea.
That could be number, I think it might be Hurd, possibly 41. I'm not too sure. Not too sure. I'll give it to Hurd. I think he's on the ground.
You'll be a bloody idiot if he's not.
No, it doesn't matter. Well, it doesn't matter. Belpost still got a goal, so we'll put it to Hurd for the time being. And that will just provide a little bit of breathing space for them. Number 50 might be Willie Kerrins, is it?
I don't know, but I must admit, when he kicked it, there was about 30 players in our way. I know that.
That's right.
Have any chance of thinking?
Yeah, I think it was either Kerrins or Hearn, but it's we'll give it to Kerrins now because he's the player down there.
So I'd ask the cameraman.
It's going back now, so it's okay. Ball will now back in the middle of the ground, as I said. The point margin back out to the 9 points. Good strong work in the middle of the ground, and the umpire in very quickly, and will take possession of it once again.
Again, and I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but they have obviously taken a risk. The game's opened up. It's a better game now.
Yeah, so back in the middle we go once again. Again, tackle without the ball. Free kick's going to go Belpost Hill way. And it's Dylan Whitney back on the ground winning that free kick. So he won't muck around. He'll go backwards or sideways. He's just going to go long down the middle of the ground. That's what he does now. Goes towards a true centre half forward position. Contest required. Mark. Actually, there's only one player up, and that's the player that took the mark. I think that might be Ianelli, and he decides to play on now. Comes Clubber inside. Goes back towards centre wing. Mark is not taken out there. Yates again had hands on the ball. Picked up out there. This time Hall got the handball away. Went backwards. Found Yates. Yates back in the hands now of Jones on the right boot. His kick was smothered off the boot. And again, they go back hard after it. Good work, some good strong work in there at the bottom of the pack. Its ball still hasn't cleared the contest. Umpire in. Someone's lying on the ground, not too well. Young Jones it is, but he's up.
You say strong at the contest. How strong at the contest is Yates? That's a captain's captain, that is. He's been physical all day.
So again, Ruckman go at it once again, picked up by Jones. This time he does get boot to ball, goes back into the forward line, taken by Harmer, plays on, goes long, but he is offline. Yes, just through for a minor score. His first score of the afternoon, and it's 12-6 now, Belpost Hill, 10-8 Geelong West, and we tick towards 20 minutes, final quarter, Morris Finance, final quarter scoreboard.
Cats home by 35 points at Cardinia Park against Port Adelaide.
Is that all?
As Justin Carey for Geelong West kicks.
I wonder whether Richard from wherever you tonight.
Centre wing, it's Yates of Belpost Hill who slaps it forward. Ford comes out and takes a chest mark at true centre half forward, so I reckon he'll be kicking from about 40 metres out, near enough to directly in front.
I reckon he's looked up down the other end of the ground and said, anything you can do, I can do better. Because they've both been fantastic in the finish, both of these two blokes. We might rip it in half and give them $12.50 each, so get a couple of chips and a hamburger, but that's all right.
Will Ford, centre half forward, 40 metres out. His team lead by 10 points. He comes in, leaves the boot, and he's very, very happy with that. Straight over the umpire's head. 16 points leads. They got out as far as 21. Geelong West kicked 3 in a row, and Belpost Hill have kicked the last 2 to get themselves back out with some breathing space. We've still got enough time for silly things to happen. It's only 21 minutes into the Morris Finance last quarter.
Yeah, don't give it up already. What have we gone, 13 or 14 minutes?
21 gone.
21. Well, there's still there's not as much time as I thought. All right, give it away, you're gone.
Bannockburn 141, North Geelong 19, East Geelong, no, that's blocked, that score. That's blocked as well. Thompson 89, Inverleigh coming back 68. Anarchy 48, Belmont 92, Winchelsea 92, Werribee 71.
So back in the middle we go again. The ball this time, Bernie didn't get a clear kick out, but Whitney had a fair crack at it. Didn't still clear the middle of the ground. Right. It's going to be a free kick going to Piers, and Piers now will be the recipient of a free kick at just the other side of the centre circle. He goes sideways. Goodness. That kick wasn't well advantage to his teammate, but it's going to be okay. Goes back and collects it. Good strong tackle out there on the far side. So Belpost Hill working hard, making sure the ball doesn't go forward, and it goes towards the boundary line, and now it's over and will be thrown back in.
That's what I want to see. A couple of tackles like that may have been a 50-50 either way. And what does the umpire do both times?
Let it go.
Play on and let it go. And that's what I reckon they should do every week.
So the ball thrown back in by the umpire. Bernie's not travelling too well because Brown takes it out of the ruck contest. Got the handball away only just. They got a little kick forward. Goes towards the player and his teammate there and Fraser, but the ball goes over the boundary line. And we were going to have another throw in to take place. A little bit closer towards the Geelong West goal, but still outside their forward 50. Bernie's got the full hobbles up now, so May need his ruck partner to come in Warrington. But ball out the back, Bernie gets it away, goes toward Costello. Now there's a high
Got a high one,
I think. And it's going to go to Bangura. So Bangura is going to be the recipient. He decides to go quickly, plays on, delivers the ball out in front of Wallace. Can't take the mark. Collected the ball, though. Then let the ball go. Goes towards Basely. Basely got the ball back to Hecker. Hecker, little chip up over the top. Went towards Viney, runs away from him. Danielle's in hot pursuit, but he turns and goes back towards the boundary line. Good mark. Player takes the mark and goes on. That's Hoare into the forward line. White comes
Free kick. Free kick.
Had to be Mark Endor free kick, and Justin White will be the recipient. So right on 50. So White now outside his range, looking for some options. Play on, says the umpire, so he now takes it on and goes across the ground. Has to be a good kick. He's put his team under a bit of pressure. Marcus not taken out there. Handball goes to Vasika. Vasika goes to Whitney. Couldn't take it cleanly, but puts boot to ball. Ball runs free now. Runs out towards the boundary line. Player in chase of the ball is Slater. He gets there, but can't keep the ball in the field of play. It goes over, so we're going to have another throw in. So over 24 minutes now. Morris Finance final quarter scoreboard. It is 10-8 Geelong West, 13-6 Bell Post Hill.
Lucky those blokes got to that ball and touched it. It would have been interesting to see if he went deliberate, because that's exactly what he was trying to do, Dylan.
Ball's been thrown back in. Warrington very neatly gets it down in the path of a teammate, but West come through Iron Alley and can't take the mark. Well, it's bad, looking bad here at the moment for West, but in Colac, the other Geelong West are 9 points in front of Colac. Who'd have funked that late in the last quarter?
And who cares?
Warrington gets the ball out of the ruck, gets it forward. I think it might be Dylan Whitney underneath that. The umpire has said, no, it's Heard. The umpire said, you have got no chance, son, so we'll have another ball up. Gin over the top of Warrington, gets it out into the path of a Slater. Slater hand passes back to Vasirka. He has been grabbed without the pill. No. The umpire's paid an off-the-ball incident, an umpire from quite a way away. Ball's kicked out, and coming out to take the mark for West is Wallace. We're just coming 25 minutes into the last quarter. West are 16 down, but Wallace has a kick directly in front. They'll need to get cracking and kick one a minute if they're going to win the game. It's left Wallace's boot, and it's gone across to the right. Blake Dye has been deemed to have taken the mark. Oh, that's very odd. That young umpire...
The young umpire was going to ball it up.
All three of them were down the third of this 50.
Yeah,
so.
I know. What's going on there? And the closest to that other decision didn't... And the bloke from 70 metres picked it. You've got to leave them alone. But that was a mark. They got this right. He had it first.
Oh. That's it. We're 25 and a half minutes. They're 15 points down now. I don't think there's any coming back from here. Bell Post Hill continue to defy logic. They have been extraordinarily good in this last quarter.
They got that right, though. That was a mark to strike.
Yep.
No doubt.
So Flaccavento now decides to play on. He goes quickly to the far side of the ground, and a long kick, and the mark has been taken out there. Yates once again. So Yates has played well, led from the front this afternoon.
Used his brains and held it up a little.
Yep, just goes out wide now. Has a teammate out by himself, and that is Warrington. So a little bit of possession football, a little bit of slow pace now into the game. Don't need to go quickly anymore. Hold a margin. Time ticks away. His kicks goes short, goes looking towards Basely. Ball gets through. Actually, it was picked up by Costello anyway. He goes back towards a dangerous spot at centre forward. Forward 1-on-3 back there. Unfortunately, a handball wasn't good. Goes towards Vasika. He goes and kicks towards goal. And I think he's actually sealed the game well and truly now.
Beautiful bit of
Vasika has got his first of the afternoon and the 14th now for Bell Post Hill. They are 14-6. They lead West 10-9. And we have gone almost 27 minutes, final quarter.
Well, it started back from Yates. He took his time. You know, he'd have a look down the ground, just bite a little bit off the clock. But when you do that, your opposition's got to pick everybody up, and they left Warrington on his own. I don't know why you would do that. He gets it to Costello. Now, Costello puts it in a spot where there's probably more West players than Bell Post Hill players. But knowing Cozzy, you know what he's like. He put that in the most dangerous spot he could probably put it. You called it, and he put it in a dangerous spot. One little fumble and bang, goal. And that's the experience of Costello coming through.
Well, back in the middle now, it's 21 points again. That's the biggest lead we've had on 2 occasions today now, and at 28 minutes, there ain't no coming back from now.
No, you can sing now.
Less than a minute to go now. Oh, back in the middle, Warrington and Gin. Warrington gets a big chunk of that and wins the ball as well. He's tackled. There is Podger Carroll. He's going nowhere, and we'll have another ball up. Just on the edge of the centre circle, Warrington takes it out of the ruck again. A big loopy hand pass out, but it goes straight to Hutchison. He gets it to Ionelli. He kicks down into the forward line, coming out. In front of the pack there is Blake Dye, who's done a good job this afternoon. Can't get away. White hand passes it back to Dye. Hand passes to his teammate there in, what's that boy's name? Fraser. And he's pushed over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in. About 5 metres around from the behind post. We're in the last minute of the game here at the Western Oval, I would suggest. Quarters have been very consistent around the 28, 29 minute mark.
Not like bloody Cogsy out there at Belmont.
The ball's been thrown back in. Another tackle, player going nowhere. No prior opportunity, although the umpire said he did have one that he didn't use. And he's been penalised, and Adrian Fantella for Bellpost Hill will take the free kick in the back pocket.
Was he a bit stiff?
I think he was.
Yeah, I think so.
Fantella's kicked the ball. It's wobbled into the Podger. Carroll comes through. Neat little hand pass to Ionelli. Can't control the ball. Gets it quickly on his foot. And Fantella almost drags in a one-handed mark. Staggard breaks free for the Panthers. Yates runs onto it. He can't get away. Ionelli slips it onto his foot really quick. White comes out. Can't control the ball. Tries to get it in. You think it was wet the way some of these blokes are handling it. Grossman kicks the ball down quickly and coming in, and young Mills defies what I've just said.
He's done all right.
Very
I don't know where he's
strong
come
mark.
from.
He's shown a bit, wherever he comes from.
So young Mills, the left footer now, kicks long down the line. Safety first at this hour of the day, and that's a very strong mark by Nick Costello.
Not paid.
Players tackled the ground. No prior opportunity again. That's Yates. And we'll have a ball up. Centre wing, only a few metres inside from the boundary line. Gin gets it again, can't break free of the pack. Dylan Whitney couldn't get hold of it either. The umpires said we'll have another ball up. Centre wing, game is all over. 21-point lead to Bellpost Hill, and we're just ticking to the 30-minute mark of this quarter. Podger Carroll gets the ball, hand passes, but it's for Circa for Bellpost Hill, grabs it to Ionelli. The umpire was going to blow the whistle and didn't, and probably should have. Quick kick down, and that's going to be out on the full. Fantella didn't quite control that kick. And it's going to be Justin Carey for Geelong West in the back pocket. Kicks down and finds his teammate there in Burke. Burke for Geelong West. Long, low drop punt. Cooking down the line, looking for Bancura, and he's got him. The umpire signalled a push in the back.
See, the other umpire hadn't a clue what he was doing. You just keep out of it, mate.
Yeah, the push in the back has been to Wallace. Bancura's now got the ball. He's going to pay the mark. The umpire's calling him back behind the mark. So there was two incidents, one free kick, one mark,
So
one
whose free
umpire
kick is
paid
it?
each. So it's got the free kick has gone back to Wallace.
For in the back, which was there. But he was going to pay it, but the other bloke paid it anyway. That's when you sort of leave it alone a bit, mate.
So it's a big torp from Wallace. Goes into the forward line, coming out, punching his Blake Dye from the back when he realised he couldn't mark it. Gets it to the ground. It's Daniele comes through. Bancura picks up. Neat little kick across, releases a teammate. Fraser gets it for Geelong West, slaps it forward. White overruns the ball. Blake Dye comes out. He can't control the ball. Neat job there by McNamara. Gets it across to Baseley.
Baseley's dobbed it at the other end.
Baseley kicks a goal for Bellpost Hill. Unfortunately, it's at the wrong end of the ground, so it's a behind to Geelong West. 20 points now is the margin, and we've gone almost 32 minutes into this last quarter. Fantella takes the mark from the kick in the back pocket. He kicks over the top and releases Harmer. Far side, what is it? Whitney it is. Far side of the ground. Gets around on that favoured left foot. Long, low drop punt down the line and finds Hurd on the far side of the ground.
Jones.
He kicks into the middle of the ground and finds Yates. It was Jones actually, yes.
Calling Dr. Jones. Dr. Jones.
So Yates has now, he kicks it across the ground and finds Burney, who's done
all
a
over.
really good job in this last quarter. And that is what I would call a typical Bellpost Hill finish to the game. They are an extraordinary club with incredible players with great confidence. They come away with a 20-point win. Grubby, you've seen it 100 times before, so it probably doesn't surprise you.
No, it doesn't surprise me, but the way the game was going, it does. Because they weren't doing much more than West. It was a pretty horrible game. And as I said, someone's got to take the risk, open it up. They did, but they did it first.
Well, they kicked 7 in the first 3 quarters. They kicked 7 in the last quarter.
That's right. But then West, when they realised, they did it too, but it was just a little bit late.
Yeah. So goal kickers for the day, Blake Dye has 7 of the 10 for Geelong West, 1 each to Mitchell, Ianelli and Edwards. And for the opposition, we've got Bellpost Hill, and 6 of the 14 went to Will Ford, 2 each to Costello and to Danielle, 1 each to Vaserka, Yates, Whitney, and we think Kerins.
Happy enough to pay that. David Steele, we might go back to you in the studio to clear some sponsorship announcements.
Before you do, Anarchy 100 have defeated... 48, Belmont Lions 100.
Okay, that's we'll come back with all those scores from around the grounds and a summary of this contest. You're listening to 94.7 The Pulse. This is GDFL football from the Western Oval.
Your home of local football.
I'm going to have to give them the 2 goal kickers.
We're back here at the Western Oval. Geelong West 10-10-70 were defeated by Bellpost Hill 14-6-90. Extraordinary performance by the old wily Panthers during the last quarter, and there had been some discussion about how difficult it would be to give the Wagyu beef from the Sale Yards Hotel Best Player of the Day award. But Grubby has decided in his wisdom that we will take a breath, we'll be sensible, and we'll give some votes, and I'm going to start the ball rolling by giving mine, and I might just throw that little spanner in the works right from the start and cop the abuse that's coming back my way. I'm going to give 1 vote to Will Ford from Bellpost Hill for kicking 6 goals. I'm going to give 2 votes to Blake Dye for Geelong West for kicking 7. I'm going to give 3 votes to Jack Yates, who was a superb leader of his football club and contributed in every one of the 4 quarters, and I thought he was the best player on the ground.
And I agree with the 3 that you've given to, and as I said, mine are just a little bit different, but when players kick 7 of 10 and 6 of 14, they have contributed fairly well. So I've gone 1 Yates, 2 Dye, 3 Ford.
Ditto. A great captain's game by Mark Gates for 1.
Jack.
2 votes, Jack Gates for Mark Gates. He played. He
Geelong.
whacked Brewer. 1 vote to Jack Gates. Great captain's game. 2 votes to Blake Dyer. Magnificent performance. And 3 votes to Will Ford, who gives him 7 votes for the day, which gives him the Wagyu steak at the magnificent Yards Hotel, which is just across the road, by the way.
Yeah.
If you want to go over and have a meal. And
If you're sitting in your car here at the West Oval, or you're in the
why not?
grandstand, or you're even just in the suburbs and you're coming home from voting, don't go home and put a steak on. Go to the Yards Hotel and get with them to cook one for you. Magnificent food, and the service apparently is great because they put up with Philpott. They must put up with anything.
Well, you ask Philpott and he'll say they're the best oysters in the world.
The world. The world's a big place, Richard.
Well, the Yards is pretty good.
Well, I've got to admit that was very disappointing. 2 things disappointed me today. One was the quality of the football for the first 3 quarters of both sides. It was terrible. And in fact, I got more enjoyment out of watching Anarchy in North Geelong than I did out of watching this game today. But I think the thing that disappoints me overall was the Geelong West performance. They were on top of the ladder. Admittedly, they hadn't beaten much except Bannockburn in that first quarter, which was based around a big last quarter. But I expected them to be playing a big part in this year's finals. But we've seen Bannockburn, Inverleigh, Geelong West and Belpost Hill, and we've seen Thompson. And West were really, really disappointing in my mind.
Well, we saw East Geelong against Belpost Hill a couple of weeks back, and they were disappointing too, but then they've come out and beaten Thompson and also Inverleigh in 2 weeks, and now Thompson have beaten have they beaten Inverleigh? Yes, we
have not confirmed yet.
But
I'll do that.
they would think
While
that
you boys
would have
chat
been the case.
amongst
So, look, as I said, it just seems to be if he can play that consistent football, and at this stage, at 6-1, you'd think they have played consistent football, but the quality that they played against might be now the question. Because, as I said, Belpost Hill have been really good today. And again, with probably 2 or 3 players who can still come back into that side, if all these blokes haven't gone away and they're still coming back, like if you get who's their main man from last year, Matty James hasn't played for some time.
He's out. Yeah.
We're talking about Timmy Barton now still coming back.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago we were told he was gone somewhere else.
Yeah.
They get a ruckman back in if they're trying to get the big fella back.
They're trying to get Ren Lovett, but I don't like their chances.
I've just got a text message. I've got no idea it's from, but thank you anyway. Inverleigh 14-10, Thompson 13-14. So Hawks by 2 points.
Oh, have
Full
they?
time.
Wow. I thought they were home, Thompson, but.
And who's the other bloke? Who's the bloke that Fisher? Fisher hasn't played. Where's he? The ruckman that from Belmont.
Yeah, we saw him game 1. Haven't seen him.
So there's 3. Well, let's say 3 of them come back into this side.
Plus, Danielle's brother can play a bit.
Yes.
There's another one. Who's it? Well, you said Timmy Barton. Oh, the other bloke that didn't play today from St Mary's. Josh. Josh.
Who's this the young kid, 14? Zach Jones. Is he?
Don't know him. Don't know.
He reminds me of that kid that played off the half back line for him early in the season.
Yep.
And Josh Andrews.
Josh Andrews. That's the bloke I'm trying to think of.
Bloke.
Well, he's got to come back too.
I actually thought that was nearly the same bloke, the way they played each other, just the way they moved around the ground, other than one bloke wearing a long sleeve jumper all the time. So, there you go.
Talking to Tari before the game, he believes Josh Andrews has probably been nearly the best player for the year. Yeah. And he's got to come in. So they've got a few to come back in. But I tell you what, luck can sometimes be a fortune. After about 3 minutes of this game, I thought, hello, this bloke's going to dominate the ruck because Belpost still haven't got one. And that might be part of the way they'll go on and win the game of footy. But he got injured. He went off for the rest of the game. And not only did he go off, but they didn't have a replacement. And Warrington and Burney, they dominated the ruck. They're not much taller than me. And they've dominated the ruck, whereas I think they were going to be in for a long, hard day against Jai Bohm. They also lost Adam Lima, who's always good and tough and hard in the back line. So they had their fair share of bad luck as well. I don't know who they've also got to come back in, because I just don't know.
Benny Muir never played much after quarter time.
No, he didn't either.
That's right. I noticed, I looked down the list and thought, geez, they haven't called him for a while, and he was gone as well, so he wouldn't have seen all of the first half.
And Billy Higgins, did he come off?
He came off. He went actually back on the ground, but he wasn't working
and
that
limped.
well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you to Will Rice. It was who sent through that.
Oh, yeah, Willie.
From Inverleigh.
Willie Rice.
Thanks, Ricey.
So we thank you very much for that. And that is, well, that would have been the shock of the day had that happened. But I reckon this was the shock of the day for me. Very surprising. and disappointing. So Geelong West have got a lot of work to do to catch up to the good ones.
Look, I always thought they did because of their draw, right? And they're 6-0, and in a few weeks' time, they're a real chance to be 6-3 with now Eastern Inverleigh coming up. So they've got to win one of them. They really got to try and win one of them. I don't know which one they can win because I think East Geelong and Thompson are probably the best two sides in it, although they've been pushed by Bannockburn and Thompson. But what it does do for everybody, including me, that we run around from round 1 to about round 4 or 5 saying, well, I think Inverleigh will win this. It's about time they won one. Good on them, they'll win this. Guess what? She's wide open in the GDFL. Don't you worry about that.
It is indeed, which is very, very exciting to see. Let's just have a quick look at next week's games because we've got to choose where we're going. Or you've already organised that.
The highway cruise, mate. We've got to see Werribee. We may as well see them at home because I can watch Bannockburn as well.
Oh, okay. So we've got Karaya versus Inverleigh. That should be easy enough. East Geelong play Geelong West, and East Geelong, after what I saw today, will win that comfortably. Anarchy host Belpost Hill. That'll get messy. Winchelsea play the Belmont Lions. That will be a very good game at Winchelsea, and North Geelong host Thompson and might be in a bit of trouble. But the already selected match of the day, Werribee Centrals are hosting Bannockburn, and we're apparently going there for a 2:10 start next Saturday afternoon. Werribee Centrals past Players' Day, is it?
2:10, is it?
So it's got written here, but I reckon it's probably wrong. 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of a misprint. It's 2:10 on all of the games.
Well, put it this way, I'll be wandering in about 2:20, 2:30 with a couple of under the belt, but
it might be a good game for me to miss. I've been trying to miss one. Do you want to call that one on your own?
Play the goal square, would you?
That's a bit ordinary. So you calling the game on your own next week, Dale?
I can do that. No worries at all.
You could be expert.
Special comments. I might have the sack for it.
I can't believe that. Mitch is. What about Philpott swearing on radio on Friday yesterday?
He did.
Oh, and the worst word you can use. I think he should be sacked forever.
That's not good.
It was an accident. It was an accident, and I will explain it to you off air. I'm not going to explain it to you on air because I might get in trouble for saying it as well. But yeah, it was a bit of an accidental one.
Well, the Elvis fans are queuing up.
Right,
94.7 The Pulse.
Since my baby left me.
They want to hear the real one.
And listen, just wait for Grubby from Richard from Werribee tonight on the way home, will you?
Yeah, I'll give Tommy a ring on the way home.
I'm going to get in first and tell him the wanker from Werribee.
David Steele, thank you very much again for all your work. The only thing you cocked up today was playing that ridiculous theme song at the start of the show.
Little beauty, Steele-o!
But outside of that, a magnificent performance, greatly appreciated.
There it is again! Little beauty! Righto.
Thank you very much.
We are the Navy Blues. We are the old dark Navy Blues. Good on you, Steelo. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, buddy. All the best.
All right.